Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As we are getting to go here, we've been kind of absent the last couple of weeks. Various things have come up in life and our surroundings. Lots of moving parts, so we haven't been able to do it. And I've been struggling with my voice for about a week and a half now. It comes and goes. As you can probably hear, its raspiness or whatever. I'd probably make a pretty decent musician now with this voice. There's some weird people out there that like this kind of a voice. I don't know. Let me just bring in my buddy here, my good old chum, my good old bud. What's going on?
What up?
His voice is all better than mine.
I'm his sign language translator for today since his voice is gone. Actually, that makes zero sense. I just realized.
That's what I was going to say.
You would still have to talk for me to sign.
Like, what are you saying?
We're just going to sign today. That's it.
So, again, excuse me. If I keep kind of clearing my throat, I've been drinking tea and doing everything that I can possibly do. We're getting this going with a super chat coming in, Tom, from our very good friend Peter Wesson. Peter is a Scottish lord, for those who don't know, but I'll just keep it there. Thank you for the super chat. I think he can afford, as a Scottish lord, he can probably afford more than $5 or $4.99. But I appreciate it, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
If you guys notice, for those who don't know, there is a rating system. It's called a leaderboard, community leaderboard. And you can see who's in first, who's in second, who's in third, and all that stuff. It's top 3. And it's in regards to your interaction and sharing various things out on YouTube. Some heavy hitters, I guess, haven't come in. I don't know how often it resets, but that's something YouTube's got going. Super chats definitely help your rating go up.
Wait, this is for your channel? So each channel gets...
So, no, I don't think so. Not from my reading. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think it's overall the platform, like on the platform, but it might be channel specific. We will see. The individuals in here all have 25 XPs right now. But as maybe some of the other people come in who've, maybe a bit more active or whatever like that. We'll see what that looks like. Because last time people were at like 175. I don't know whether that happened during our stream or that like carries over. People can do the research and let me know.
So why am I not seeing one next to my name?
It'll come up right now. Oh, because you're probably not a top dog.
I mean, I'm a YouTube... I wonder if... I think
you got 25. It might be channel specific.
I think it's channel specific. And since I'm a moderator here, it's not...
No, I think it might be channel specific. It might also be like for the day or something. I don't know. Because like right now you got 25 as well. So everybody's on 25 right now. And then we'll see how it progresses. If you share out the videos, you share out the links and all that stuff, you get more community points. So
pretty cool.
See. Yeah, it is. It is cool. So, Tom, how was your weekend? You had a very, very big weekend, my friend.
Yes, I did. Sorry, I just keep writing hello in the chat here so I can get more points.
I don't think... No. Oh, it's actually...
See, I'm number 1 now. Oh, okay. Holy that.
It's actually smarter than that.
No, it put me at number 1.
I know, but that might be because you've shared the stream out and all that stuff.
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. I read about this. It's interaction, and it has to be like actual interaction.
That's pretty cool.
Not just like spamming. Make sense?
Yeah, I like this new point system.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the Chinese communist social credit system. Seems like he's like, I like this. I think we should also, punish people for not commenting.
Yes, if you're not in the top 3 today,
you're fired.
You will be punished.
That's why you're a Donald Trump supporter, because you like that totalitarianism.
Hey, watch it. I think Trump's doing a good job.
Maybe, but we can't deny that he likes power.
Oh yeah.
Because we're level-headed conservatives here. We're not, we worship at the altar of, Nebuchadnezzar or something like that. If, for those who know their Bibles, would have gotten that, comparison. How's it going, Tyler? Pretty good, man. So Gev's in the house, folks in the house. 818 Key 21 is in the house. Excited for this one, Arthur. So am I. It's gonna be really fun. But Tom, tell us about your weekend, bro.
Oof, man, it was a tough weekend. I was a little sick this weekend, or not this weekend. I was recovering this weekend, but I was depleted, and we had our church move, guys. We moved into a new building. It's funny because we posted a video after we moved in. You know, we posted a little clip of our service and stuff like that, 20, 30-second reel, and people were congratulating us like as if we bought the building. But then it was really weird because people were actually congratulating Pastor David.
Yeah, I saw.
And I was like, wait a minute, like, why is he getting the congratulations?
Congrats, Pastor David.
They're like, congrats, Pastor David. Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I saw that. I think I liked all the comments except the ones that said, congrats, Pastor David. Because I'm petty like that. Just in case David's watching. Part of the reason is because I think people are under the false assumption that pastors are the CEOs and kings of congregations. So that's partly why I just like go against the grain there. So
Makes
congratulations, Anchor Church.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And Pastor David, obviously.
Correct, because he's a leader in the congregation, and we love him dearly. But yeah, so you had so many moving parts in regards to setup and tear down and all that. So did that all go better than you thought it would?
Yeah, it did. It's very stressful setting up sound system in a new church, new building, new setting. Everything is new. And so fortunately for us, we have a very good group of guys who came, helped out. We got it done. But it's funny because we have only like 10 minutes to clean up the stage before the next congregation comes in.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like 20 guys walked up and they started just throwing everything into the side room, which was helpful. But I realized after the fact that I probably need a better strategy here, because now I got to go Thursday night and start looking for all those wires that were lost. So, or thrown into random locations.
Yeah, you might need to mark it down. And I mean, that's going to be for a limited time as well until everything is structured properly.
Yeah, man.
But you might need to like mark it with like a tape, like wires here,
that's right,
speakers
that's right.
here. You know,
so
like
good weekend. Good weekend for our church. It was a nice step of faith for us, and we're in a better place now.
You know, I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Partly because Saturday, second half of Saturday, well, I got on the road around like 1. Watched the first half of the Champions League final. What an absolute disappointment that was, in my opinion. You want to see a competition, actually, not someone getting just trashed 5-0. Largest margin for a team to lose the Champions League final. 5-0. Congrats, PSG, I guess. The Liverpool fans always can say, well, we lost to the champions, and they barely beat us on penalties. So, but, see you next year, I guess.
Don't be greedy, man. Don't be greedy.
I want all of it. I want Liverpool to win every single trophy. So my son had a tournament. I drove an hour and like 45 minutes to this tournament. He had 2 games on Saturday, and they were late games, 3:30 and 6-something, 15. By the time I got home, it was 8:30, 9. Went to bed, woke up, came to church. Like went through that, and then ate really quickly, talked to some folks, and then hit the road again because he had his semifinal game, which they lost 3-2. And if they had won that, I would have been there for another 6 o'clock game, gotten home at like 8:39 again. But we still got home a bit late because we stayed over to watch our good friend Sako. His son had a final game that went to penalties, and the kids won it on penalties.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 1-1.
Wait, Sako's kids team won?
Yeah, Elijah went. They went to penalties, and the other team's goalie was amazing.
Wow,
really good goalie. But their players, 2 of them hit the post, and they essentially won because they hit the post.
Wow, good stuff.
Yeah, so we stayed and supported him for that. So it was kind of cool. Big shout out to that little guy. He played his heart out. He's got. I would take a character of like that kid, the way he plays sports, the way he plays soccer, and how competitive he is, because he's tiny, rather than like a bunch of big kids who are really good. He just
he hates to lose,
running,
for sure,
and he's nonstop running, bro. Like in the game, just no laziness in that guy when it comes to soccer. I'm not sure about the rest of his life. A big shout out to him. So I got home yesterday, and I was just sitting because I was so tired. I was sitting, and I opened up YouTube, and then a video popped up. And I was like, oh, man, Avery from God Logic is in London. He's in England. And he's at Speaker's Corner, and he's having a conversation with Ali Dawa. For those who know who Ali Dawa is. Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawa. Ali Dawa's like voices a part of David Wood's like intros and stuff. He's got a kind of squeaky voice and all that. So supposedly these guys are like the big time Muslim apologists, Dawah guys, whatever. So they're having a conversation. It goes kind of, a couple of different places. And Ali Dawa decides that he's got this really good argument against what Christians call the hypostatic union, or the two natures of Jesus, right? The two natures of Christ. And so I'm going to play this video. It's 18 minutes in. But he brought these toys, or he brought this toy that has like, it's a kid's toy that has these square and triangle and different shapes and stuff like that. And he's trying to make some kind of a point. Now, let me tell you this. I was watching this, and my family was around, so it was loud. My 11-year-old was standing there, Tom, or sitting, and he was listening to this, and he just goes, what is that guy saying? He doesn't know what he's talking about.
That makes a lot of sense. That's where these guys' logic is.
He goes, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's not like my son understands and can articulate, doctrines of a serious nature. But he understood that the guy's not making any sense. The logic's off. So I'm going to play a portion of this, and then we're going to react to it, and we'll comment on it as to, intellectual honesty is one thing. Another thing would have to be, hey, if you're going to criticize a position, know what you're criticizing. Look at this guy. He's trying to make us jealous or something.
Wow. Our tune is in Iran right now, in the motherland.
Kind of. I mean, he might be really close to it right now.
Yeah. It's funny, when you send me this video that we're going to react to today, I first read it as Ali Dawa, the soccer player. And I was like, wow, why are we reacting to this? It took me a second to actually read it.
It'd be funny. I wonder if Pisabi would have had a very similar interaction with
I miss that guy.
Yeah,
we need that guy around.
He hasn't been around. Pisabi. I've heard rumors about Pisabi, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's pull this up. And you haven't seen this, Tom.
No. This is first time for me.
So this is where Ali Dawa was trying to explain or articulate why Jesus having two natures is a contradiction. That's just a setup to this.
Two natures, one person.
No, two?
Two natures, one person.
Okay.
Is this a contradiction?
This is human sign, yeah?
Is this a contradiction?
Yes, because I said, can you have a triangle square? This is a triangle, this is a square. If you put them together, you have a house that falls apart. Because I said, there's the divine nature of Jesus that you guys believe in. Let's call him the triangle. And there is the human nature that you believe. There are two persons. Person one.
Two persons?
Look,
nobody said what?
1 second.
Ali, you're not even quoting it right, bro.
1 second.
Oh my God, this is failing.
Triangle, let the people decide.
Okay.
Triangle is the divine nature.
So this is one of the problems. So if you don't know a position, don't argue against it. Like, learn the position. Supposedly, Ali Dawa was a really, really intelligent guy. High IQ, whatever. The Christian definition, okay, what we call the Chalcedonian Creed or the Chalcedonian definition, specifically speaks about natures. And the natures not being confused or brought together and mixed up and all these things. And because those things were all heretical movements that they were arguing against. And the idea that we have one person in Jesus and two natures, and what he's saying is, here's a human nature and a human person, and a divine nature and a divine person, and then it's a contradiction, is what he's coming at. And it just shows how ignorant he is of the subject. Right, and that's what Avery calls him out on, right?
He was so excited with this. analogy.
Yeah,
too.
he really thought he had something.
Poor guy. And he's cooking
Let's
in
make a
like a. Yeah, is that a chef's hat?
Yeah, that's his. Yeah, because he wears a chef's hat. He's got an apron on too.
That makes
And
it more
did you see him cooking with the? He was stirring the.
man.
Yeah, he's stirring the pot. Avery's something else, man.
Ooh.
Avery's something else. He was stirring the pot
All right.
with a
let's go.
big giant one. You go ahead, Avery. You cook away, bro.
Okay, sure.
Okay, the divine nature. Look, guys, look. Yeah, the divine nature. You know when Coco loves, he's in big trouble. Now, the human nature is square. Yeah.
Sure.
How many persons?
One.
Alhamdulillah. Orthodox Muslim, this was for you. Alhamdulillah. Now, this is the human nature, person one. This is the human nature and the divine nature. You cannot, when you bring them together, it's a contradiction. You cannot have a triangle square. Meaning, when you bring them together, you have how many shapes? 2. He said, how many persons are there? 1. So that is my argument. You can't have the human nature and the God nature together because that means you have a triangle square. A square has 4 sides. A triangle has, guys, how many sides does triangle have? You can talk. How many sides? 3. How many square? Can you bring them together? No. Why? It's an impossibility. This is the reason why. Look, guys, he goes, you can bring them next to each other. That's not my argument. My argument is the following. There's one nature that is human. There is one nature that is God. You are a if you say there are two persons, then you are committing heresy.
You're right.
Yes. So, I repeat again. This is the human nature. This is the God nature. Yes? Can you bring them together?
Okay. Thank you.
Simple question.
All right, my turn now.
So he's gonna go from this. So now there is a better way to articulate kind of what he's talking about, but he's not doing that. There's a much better way you can articulate this. I'm not going to tell him what the way it is.
Yeah, don't
Okay?
spill the beans.
I'm not going to
here.
spill the beans. But you got to do your research on this stuff. Okay? You have to do your research. Now, Avery's going to cook a little bit, and then I'm going to skip ahead where I think it just gets really funny.
All right. So, Ali Dawa, I thank you for bringing the shapes because we needed your help to demonstrate this for you. I know what you're saying.
Okay, good.
I know what you're saying. And matter of fact, just really quick, because you talked about Nestorianism. Do you know what that is exactly?
That they believe in 2 persons.
Very good.
Yes.
So Nestorianism is belief in 2 persons.
Yes.
Now be honest with me.
Yes.
Have I ever said 2 persons?
No, that's why I asked you.
Very good. All right, thank you, thank you. All right. So it's pretty clear, Ali Dawa knows that I am not saying that there are 2 persons.
Exactly.
We are saying that there are 2 what?
Natures.
Very good.
Okay.
Oh, just one second. So natures and persons are 2 different categories. Do we agree?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. So if I say that there's 2 natures, I'm not saying there's 2 persons.
I know.
If I say there's 2 natures within one person, there's 2 different categories, yeah?
Good, yeah.
All right. So you said that you're talking about one nature being the same as the other. The opposite nature being the same as the other nature, right? Yes.
Them being together.
Okay. Are these together?
Not like that.
I didn't ask that.
Square.
Are these together?
No, not like that. I'm not talking
When I bring a triangle
That's my argument.
and I bring a square
That's my argument.
and I bring it together.
How many shapes you have?
Is this is 2 shapes?
Good.
Is this a wait?
Good.
I answered all your questions. Remember? My turn.
Yes.
I bring them together. Are they together?
Yes.
Is this a contradiction?
They are 2.
That's not what I asked you. Is this a
They are
contradiction?
2 shapes.
Thank
How
you.
many shapes you have?
Wait. Look.
You know, Ali Dawa doesn't realize here, Tom, is that when he says they're 2 shapes, it's exactly what we're saying when we talk about the dual natures. Right?
Yes.
2 natures. The natures aren't mixed together.
Nope.
They don't become one other shape. They keep, because when we asked what is a nature, it's what makes a thing itself, right? They keep their natureness, if you want to put it that way, right? They keep their nature. There's a divine one and a human one, and they're brought together. And we call this the hypostatic union. Okay? It's the union of the natures. They don't stop being a square. And they don't stop being, in their analogy, right? They don't stop being a square. It doesn't stop being a triangle. They're just brought together. And that's what Avery's trying to get him to understand.
Yes.
Saying, is this a contradiction? Bringing them together. Is that a contradiction?
But this whole shape thing isn't the best analogy. I know he didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
But there's more mystery and complexity in that. So.
Well, of course there is.
Yes.
But the idea that both a square and a triangle are shapes.
Yes.
Is good to help out that these shapes remain being shapes in a general category. Yes. And then they don't stop being a square or stop being a triangle. But Ali Dawa is, again,
He's
he's
trying to
arguing,
morph them like they're one. They have to turn into each other somehow.
which is against
Yes.
what Christians actually believe.
Yes.
We don't believe that. That'd be in violation of the Chalcedonian definition. That's the problem, is like you would hope that he understands what he's trying to argue against. But he's trying to argue against the heresy that Christians don't believe in. Which is it's hilarious to me.
I did. It's my turn.
Yes. But you're asking me.
I know, because
Don't ask me. Okay,
is this a contradiction?
There's such a kind of what's the word?
Leave that screen. This is where the cooking begins right here. Look at his face.
Yeah.
This is a meme right here.
There's a smugness about him. Now, it's okay to be smug, I would say, if you know what you're talking about. When you're ignorant of a thing and you're smug, that's very problematic. Okay? Because you're going to look like a fool. You're going to look like a fool.
You know what? I'll go around. Sam, is this a contradiction? Okay, so Sam says yes. Sam says yes. It is a contradiction. So putting one shape and another shape and putting it side by side together, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a contradiction according to the Muslims. Do you agree?
Weak argument. I'm not talking. You said don't talk.
Do you agree? No, I say you gotta answer me.
Can I ask you?
Because answer. Is this a contradiction?
Yes. Why? Let me tell you why.
Okay, so putting two shapes together is a contradiction according to Ali Dawa and our friend Sam. All right, so break down how this is a contradiction.
Can you do me a favor and try to put the square in the triangle?
Yes.
The square.
You said it's a contradiction.
Put the square in the triangle.
You said it's a contradiction.
I'm just asking a question.
You said it's a, wait, can I try?
So this is where it gets good, because he's like, put the triangle in the square.
Yeah.
Now here's the technically, you can put a triangle in a square.
In a
Right.
bigger square.
Yeah, well, like even even within it.
Yes.
Because two triangles, if they're all equal, you put them together, you get a square. But regardless, this guy's talking about like special realities. Like, put it in there.
This is your toy.
Because it doesn't fit.
Put the triangle. Look, it still doesn't fit. It still doesn't fit.
He thinks this is a good argument.
Oh, he's so happy there.
So now what?
Now, hold on a second, guys. Why is this triangle not fitting in the square?
Because it's not big enough, you genius.
It's a toy, buddy.
It's not.
That's to teach children where to place their shapes.
Why is it not fitting? Because it's a contradiction.
Because it's not a square.
Because they're different nature. Exactly.
Because they're of
The
different
square-
natures.
Why isn't it working? Let me try here. Let me try the triangle.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah, Ali Dawa. Good job. You were able to put a square
The
in a
prophet.
square.
The prophet will be proud right now. Look, the prophet is looking down on you, smiling.
Oh, gosh. Looking up, bro.
For God's sake, let me say Bismillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It's still not working. But let me try the triangle. Okay. My argument is the following, guys. I have never said.
I think he's ready for kindergarten.
He's going to tell us what his argument is, by the way. Okay. He's going to tell us.
You can't bring a triangle and a square. It is absolute stupidity to say this is an impossibility. How could this be an impossibility or a contradiction? My argument was the following: there are three types of existence.
Okay, now this is going to get into some philosophy here. Okay, so supposedly there was a debate the day before or whatever like that. And he's got these categories of like three kinds of existence. Okay? And let's see what he says.
Exactly.
Can I hold this?
The Lord's gonna have mercy on you, my friend.
Thank
You
you.
need it today, yeah? Now, brothers and sisters, impossible existence, possible existence, and necessary existence.
Impossible existence, possible existence, necessary existence. Okay, now, what is an impossible existence? It seems to me it just means non-existence. Okay, now from hearing them about it, and Avery points this out. He goes, "That's just non-existence. That's, a square circle or something like that, right? It's non-existence." So necessary existence it would be a thing that would necessarily have to exist in all possible worlds or whatever like that. And then you get contingent existences of things that owe their existence to something else. Okay, so like creation would be a contingent one because it's contingent on God's existence. God would be a necessary one. The impossible one, I just think he means like logical impossibilities. But you shouldn't say impossible existence because it doesn't actually exist.
Yes. So there's only one.
Huh?
So there's only one possible existence.
Necessary existence.
Necessary existence.
Yeah, God would be a necessary existence in his category. He's a necessity.
An impossible existence is what?
Something that don't exist?
No. Triangle square. Can you have a triangle square, Christian?
He's like, no. So this is the funny thing. Again, these are the things you got to pay attention to in regards to either he's not listening or he just really doesn't understand what he's arguing for. Avery said something that doesn't exist. He goes, no.
Yeah.
A triangle square can't exist. Well, yeah.
I thought so. They know. You cannot have a triangle because a triangle is 3 sides, a square is 4 sides. He said, but you can bring them together. I said, I have no problem.
I got you.
It looks like a house, but I'm destroying the house. You know why? Because you can't have a triangle.
We're destroying your house. He thinks that's...
You know, the sad part is that God logic already knows what he's about to do. Like he planned this about 45 seconds ago. I saw when he took that square from him.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew. Like he's kind of letting this guy dig right now.
Yeah,
he's digging and digging.
This is career-ending stuff, in my opinion.
Triangle square.
I got you.
Now, 1 second. Just 1 second.
This is really bad.
Now, we'll let the people decide.
This is really
it's
bad.
It's good. It's medium.
Really bad, brother.
I want it well done.
By the way, we're doing exactly what Ali Dawa said to do. He said, let the people decide. And the people have decided that you're an ignoramus. You don't know what you're talking about. You're absolutely foolish. Number one, you think you're sly by bringing a toy and thinking you're going to make some kind of analogy on Onum or whatever like that. If you're going to be a serious individual that's going to have serious conversations, do that. Okay, maybe, I don't know, in regards to where they're gathering and all that stuff, Speaker's Corner, it doesn't have that serious tone. I mean, I've seen pretty serious folks up there, but go ahead, keep making a fool of yourself.
Medium rare.
It's really bad.
How you like your steak? No problem. Now, brothers and sisters, human nature is person. Look, human nature.
It's not person.
And you have God nature. The human nature is totally opposite. You know why? Because my definition of a dependent being that's contingent is what? It depends on something else for survival. It can be any other way, and it is composed of pieces. My definition for the necessary independent being, it is independent. It is not composed of pieces, and it cannot be any other way.
Got it.
That's the reason why. I repeat it again.
You don't have to.
Look, you can keep the toy. It's for you.
I want to show you this.
Look, it's a 3-year-old. If I go to my daughter and I say, what is a square? She'll say, Dad, it's 4 sides. And I say, what is a triangle? She'll say, Dad, 3 sides. If I say to her, what is a triangle square? She'll say, what? So I'm asking you a question.
It's my turn.
Yes, I know.
Thank you.
Can you have a triangle square when you admitted it is an impossible existence?
Well, let's see.
Jesus?
I got you. All right. So Ali Dawa.
Okay, this is about to get really, really good. This is about to get really good, guys. Pay close attention to what Avery's about to do. And rightly so, he's got his apron and his chef's hat on.
I need you to
Someone to my water.
Do you need water? If you go in my... Okay, there it is. All right, so Ali Dawa.
Instead of you being kind to me with water, condemn those who...
I got you. Hold on a second. So Ali Dawa, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. It's going to be super funny. Ali Dawa, what shape is this?
I hope it's funny and you laugh.
Yeah, it is. What shape is this?
Triangle. That is a square.
This is a square?
Yes.
Okay. What shape is in the square?
Triangle.
Wait.
Oh, he walked into that.
You just told me that a triangle cannot be in a square. But you just said that this is a square that has a triangle in it. Wait.
So let me explain something. People need to understand Avery's position here. Avery's not drawing an analogy. He's not saying this is what the hypostatic union is. What Avery's doing is arguing against his example.
Yes.
Because he's saying you can't bring a square and a triangle together. Well, clearly all Avery had to do was focus on the bigger square, and then you put a triangle in it and you brought them together. And he doesn't see it. That's the sad part. He's just like...
That's brutal. I'm not a body language expert, but you could tell from his body language, the crossing of the arms, that this is game over right now.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. And this is what I mean.
Chef Curry right now. 12 threes in a row.
I'm a little confused. So wait, I just want to know. Since this is a square, and this inside the square is a triangle, is this a contradiction? Yes or no? No, wait. Because I'm about to make my point. Yes or no?
This is a square, my friend. There's triangle, square, star, circle.
Oh, it has multiple shapes within the square.
There are multiple gods. I said.
He said multiple gods.
Now, quick question.
Wait, no.
Quick,
Is it a contradiction? Yes or no?
Your Christian followers not going to help you.
Is it a contradiction?
No, check this out.
No, answer. Is it no? Look, it's a yes or no at this point. Thank you. All right, so now let me continue. I only wanted that.
That's fine.
Okay,
that's fine.
So,
By the way, if it's a contradiction, it can't exist. According to his definition of impossible existence. Tom, this is where the issue is that he gave this thing of impossible existence. And he's saying a square and a triangle is an impossible existence.
Yeah.
Okay. But the way, again, his confusion here is that bringing them together and molding them into whatever, another shape that has the properties of both of them. But in regards to a response to that, is that you can have a square with a triangle in it, and it's not a contradiction.
Yes.
So that cannot be a contradiction. Now, it's so horrible in regards to like an analogy or an argument, is that people are going to misunderstand it and think what Avery's saying, especially Muslims who aren't listening very carefully. They're going to think what Avery's saying is, oh, the hypostatic union is like this bigger nature with another nature in it or something like that. No, all it is the union of two natures in one person. So he's misunderstanding nature and personhood. Both of those things he's misunderstanding. And he's misunderstanding in what way they're coming together. And so therefore it's highly problematic. I mean, is this the best a Muslim can offer? I mean, if I wanted to be really annoying, I'd say something like, well, he's taken after Muhammad in regards to Muhammad's misunderstanding of the Trinity. And they're just following him in regards to their misunderstandings of what we're talking about and what our claims are as Christians. It's so sad, you guys. It is so
Yeah, bring back Anjem Chowdhury. He was much more interesting than this
I know. bring back a number of other. I mean, it's. I don't know if I can stress how embarrassing this is. Like, I hope, and my suspicion is, tonight at some point we're going to see David Wood and Apostate Prophet do a reaction to this video, and talk about it more in detail. Now, there's something else that Avery does that I think really pushes stuff home. It's a bit, it has to do with like Allah being a necessary being. Okay, now I forgot where that is in the video. But he essentially says, is Allah a necessary being? And he says, yeah. So he says he's not contingent on anything. And the argument is correct. He's not contingent on anything. And then Avery quotes a passage from the Quran, I think chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken, where Allah says, how can I have a son? I don't have a mate. Like, it's impossible if I have a son because I don't have a wife. And the argument that Avery's used this argument with Muslims a lot, but the argument is, if Allah wanted to, could he have a son? Now they would have to say, because of their understanding of God, of course, he can do whatever he wants. He's all powerful. Because that's not a contradiction. But the Quran says that if he doesn't have a mate, he can't have a son. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Muslim misunderstandings. They think we're saying God had sexual relations.
Oof.
And we're not saying that. Their misunderstanding, this is how ignorant Muhammad was, their misunderstandings are of what Christians are actually saying.
And then they wrote a book on it.
And then, he made up a book. Let's look at the comments. I don't know if you've been following the comments. We got some heavy hitters here, man. Look at that. Radar's in the house. What's up, Radar? How you doing, brother? JP's in the house. but he's in the house with his second account. He's in the weaker account. He forgot to log out. So that's what's going on. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely over, you guys. Like it's Ali Dawa's career should be done. Everyone should do a reaction video to this.
Yeah, but you know the Muslims are going to come out trying to like explain what he was saying better.
Of course.
We live in that culture. People don't accept defeat anymore. It's just going to be like, trying to explain away what he said, what he actually meant, and how Avery was being dishonest and stuff like that. That stuff's going to come out.
It'd be a lot better if they came out and said, hey, he could have used a better analogy and argument, and he failed at it. It wasn't good. That would be a lot better.
Yeah, that's not happening, bro.
Yep. Let's see what the leaderboard is in the community settings. Who's winning? Excellence is in first place. Excellence won it last time. Look at that. Radar came in there. 75. Immediately took second spot. Ace is in third place. Nick Quint following up with a close fourth. Tom, you're tied for fourth. You're tied for... No, you're on 75 as well.
Oh, yeah.
But somehow...
What kind of system is this? Did Ali Dawa make this YouTube thing?
Hey, it's got some internal factors that it's assuming you're not sitting in first.
I don't like this.
So y'all compete away, man. Y'all compete away. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? I know you guys are saying, yeah, it's brutal, it's sad. To me, there isn't much you can say about it because it's so silly. It's very, very silly.
Yeah, this is just a nice. This is going to make some good clips for the God Logic channel. But this has been the trajectory of honestly Muslim apologists, in the last few years, definitely, where it's just brutal for them, man. It seems like every time they come out to defend a position, and they're so hyped in the beginning too. I have something to say, and it's like really like hype, Today we are going to, and there's like cameras and stuff around. Like this guy hired like a film crew or something, and then he pulls this thing out. He's like, "We are going to like defeat Christianity," and then like in 5 minutes, this guy like mocking him with like a chef hat and stuff, stirring the pot, just destroys the analogy, like breaks it into pieces. And it's just brutal. It just seems like this is what Islam has to go through constantly. That's why they shut the internet off in their countries. Honestly, it's brutal. I mean, imagine being in like those, when they sit on those chairs, the Muslim guys, and all those people are sitting in front of them, and they're just like, yes, you can marry your cousin, but it's no problem. And then like all the guys in the bottom are like, oh, finally, I'm going to get married. And it's like, imagine there was actually internet in those countries where people would get on and be like, oh, what the heck's this guy saying? But that's why they don't allow it. At least that's my understanding.
Well, as someone who was born and grew up in a Muslim country, you can say some stuff about this.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this even in the beginning, like, so I watched the first few minutes, like on my drive here, because I was like, I need to know what the heck I'm talking about, because you kind of just threw this on me, and they were talking about burning the Quran, if it's okay or justified to burn the Quran. And Avery said something like, well, if it's a Christian response to what you guys are doing against us, or the kind of mocking the Holy Spirit and stuff like that, I see it as being like justified in a way. And the guy's like, no, as a Muslim, we respect Jesus. We believe Jesus. We never do something like that. It's like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? You guys murder Christians all over the world. You guys, you lock them up. You treat them like slaves. Like, I come from a country where my pastor was killed by the Iranian government, or my parents' pastor was killed by the Iranian government, stabbed 27 times, thrown into a little ditch, and then they called up his son to check his body to see if, like, oh, but you don't burn the Bible. Yeah.
If I was Avery,
here's another reason why they don't burn the Bible in those countries, because they don't allow them to come in there.
Yeah,
that's the other. You don't have Bibles to burn them. The ones that have the Bibles in their country, those are the snuck-in ones.
So here's the thing: what I would have, if I were Avery, that's earlier on in the conversation, I would have said, "What's worse, burning the Quran or killing Christians for being Christians?" Because Ali Dawa has said that if the country is Sharia law and you convert from Islam to Christianity, it's halal to kill you.
Yeah.
He said that. publicly. This stuff's on the internet. Go check it out. He said that it's okay if you're a former Muslim who's converted to Christianity to kill you. And this guy's whining about someone burning the Quran. Oh, we're victims.
Oh, what a baby. I mean, see, this is kind of the shift they're trying to make with these Muslim apologists, is because if they're actually like kind of being honest to their religion, they would sound a lot like Anjem Chowdhury, right? Who's in jail right now for like terroristic threats. But this whole shift to like being this like noble, we respect Jesus so much, we care for him so much, like he's one of our prophets, except for the fact that we're killing anyone in our countries that tries to come to faith in God. We don't allow actual churches to thrive. We own the churches that do. It's like, dude, like, who are you kidding? We know what your religion represents. We know who you are. And it's just so dishonest to stand there and like pretend like you care for the Bible. And whatever, and that was the beginning. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, this is not going to go a good direction. That's where we are.
Yeah, and here's Agape. Agape is Iranian. So she says, and they say Iran is not a real Islamic country. Well, the reason why they say that is because they're Sunnis, and it goes back to a Sunni Shia kind of argument. And this again goes against the idea that Muslims try to preach to the unsuspecting, ignorant world. Christianity has so many divisions. Iran doesn't. Sorry, not Iran. Islam doesn't have so many divisions. What a load of doo-doo. That is. That's just absolutely not true. You go through their two major divisions, and then you go into like all the offshoots and random other stuff.
I mean, they're killing each other in the same like 100-mile radius with like 50 different groups.
Yeah. So she said, I'm like, bro, my people get killed for having a strand of hair out of their hijab.
Yeah.
You can't be Christian unless you were born Christian. That's right. Like that's the policy. That's the official policy of the Islamic.
Oh, and they're crazy. Like there was this guy in Sweden, I think, who burned. I used to watch this guy. He would stand on like an intersection and burn the Quran. They ended up killing this guy, like for doing that. Like they killed him. They actually shot him to death. And then there was remember those Charlie Hebdo stuff where these cartoons? These guys were like drawing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad, and these guys went in like and killed a bunch of people. Like you guys are, I mean, at least that's consistent to what your religion teaches, but please don't try to come and act like this holy figure that cares for all religions. And it was funny, I was watching something, and Arthur, I forgot where this was, but it was just a couple weeks ago, and it was saying this is a thing with Islam, is that they'll accept all these like leftist ideologies and transgenderism and stuff like that, because it's like it's just like feeding into their like it's preparing for what they actually want to do, which is attack believers, attack Christians, and do kind of that stuff. And these people are just paving the road for them to do so. So we got to put an end to these kind of people, man.
The thing is that all you need to do is expose it. The internet's been a very, very good tool against Islam for two reasons. Number one, people responding to Islamic claims that are knowledgeable, and then other people who were previously sheltered from that information now being exposed to it. Think about it, man. Think about in Iran, Christians would have to proclaim the gospel, go to those places, they're closed off. You can't get in there and just freely preach and do all that stuff. Yeah. Now people have VPNs and all this stuff, and they're watching things on the internet. They're coming across Christians actually speaking about Islam and all of that stuff. The other thing is just let them talk.
Yeah.
Brother, just let them make more and more videos.
More analogies
like you were saying,
this, yeah.
Your brother sends me the funniest videos on Instagram of some sheikh people who are just saying the wackiest stuff. People are asking them, can I marry my cousin? And they're like, yes, of course, it's halal to marry your cousin. But don't eat pork.
Yeah, exactly.
That one is really, really bad. And just let them talk. Let them teach us what Islam really is. I really want these people to truly teach people what Islam is and what the end goal is. What is the end goal of Islam? Global dominance. Yep. Global dominance. Okay. Of all countries, Sharia compliance, essentially, for everybody else. That's the end goal. Please get up there and say it. to everyone. I want everybody to hear what you want to say. I'm just saying my radar's killing it right now. He's in second place, and he's just dropping super chats. And he's like, I'm competitive. I got to take that first spot.
People are loving this new thing.
Arthur, which camera are you using? I'm looking for a new camera. What lens? Ooh, man. I'm using the camera I'm using. Oh, that's on me right now. Is a Canon M50, but the lens on it, I don't know the names, but I'm actually borrowing that lens because it's like a $700 lens, and I can't afford that one. The one that's on Tom. Tom, what camera is that?
This is Sony A6500.
And the lens is just a stock lens.
Yeah, stock lens.
Yeah. My lens is better than his lens. That's why it's on me and not him. But yeah, I will send you those details, bro. I'll send them your way.
He has a circle lens. I have a triangle lens.
But you know what the issue is? They're both lenses.
Yes.
So I'll send you all the details on that, bro. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. I hope you get number one because you're sending us money. People are now, like last time this happened too, where people were bribing the leaderboard system. Like, let me send money.
It would actually be cool if YouTube gave something back, like a free year membership to Prime or something like that. But we'll see.
You know what?
Maybe that's what they do.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting. You might want to look into that, like research it as to like, does anybody get? I don't know what happens with them. That's the thing. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Guys, do you guys want to see Mr. Apologetic do a formal debate? I really want to see that, by the way. I'm not saying with anyone specific, but I feel like your audience here deserves to see you in a... Maybe we'll fly him to London and go to that one part in the street corner where they're allowed to...
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's Speaker's
Corner. Where they have some freedom of speech.
Would you go to Speaker's Corner? Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Speaker's Corner. That's sort of a conversation. It probably would get my... parts of Arthur probably folks haven't seen.
Except they would think you're the Muslim guy.
I'll just walk in. Alhamdulillah, I am here. Listen to me as I tell you about toys. God. I just preach the gospel.
Just falsely, everything you say about Islam is just preaching the gospel.
We believe Jesus is God.
Mr. Apologetic is the man right here, right next to me.
Who said who's Mr. Apologetic?
Somebody said, who is Mr. Apologetic?
Oh, I got a hoodie that says Mr. Apologetic on it. Come on, bro.
Have you seen that Joe Rogan video where I forgot who he's talking to. I was trying to find it, where they're talking about like inbreeding in Islam, like in Muslim countries. And it's crazy because if you look at the stats, it's like really, really high percentages. Like 80, 70, 80%.
Well, they're allowed to marry their...
Yeah, like
they can marry their first cousin. Yeah.
Well, that's who they usually marry, by the way. I don't know about the more like secular countries, but...
Probably not.
It seemed like I think there was a statistic like, I forgot, like 50% of Turks are inbred. Like, this is legitimate. Like, and that's...
You're not just saying randomly mean things about Turks.
No. You can watch the video. I have the video here. You can watch the video, but it's crazy. And it was actually saying, like... Man, I don't want to get flagged for this, but it was actually saying that it was giving the scientific reasons of what inbreeding does, which is like it lowers your IQ by, I think, 15% or 15 times. I forgot the statistic that would make a huge difference. But it was numbers like that. And it was saying like some of the actual scientific, by the way, results of inbreeding is like crazy rage, anger. And it's like literally the kind of things you see in these like Muslim countries. Wow. But I'm not kidding. Like these are like genuine statistics done of what. So it was two things, like what inbreeding causes, and then what percentage of the Muslim world is inbred. And then when you put those statistics together, you have like ISIS, I guess.
I haven't seen this. I can comment on it. I was just cracking up at a Golfy's comment.
Poor Turks.
She wrote, Arthur will just walk up to a heretic and say, what you say makes no sense. Learn how to ask good questions. You have zero factual resources. You know what? How old are you?
Boom. That's so good.
Oh, man.
That's actually so good.
That's like looking in the mirror. Hey man, the audience that keeps watching has learned my character and my personality. You know what I just noticed, by the way? I'm darker than you are. That's not the camera.
No.
I'm just letting you know.
One of us is inbred.
Bro, stop.
I wonder which. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I've been under a sun for the last couple of days. So, under a sun.
Yeah, I'd like to see you in a formal debate, honestly.
Look, I spoke about this a while ago about how much I don't like formal debates anymore, and I used to love them. I used to get a kick out of them, and I thought when I was in Bible college, I thought I was gonna do a lot of formal debates, but I don't know. Maybe it's the YouTube kind of culture of it that's made me more resistant towards formal debates because I don't see good really coming out of it, and there is good that comes out of it. I'm not saying like I love formal debates. Love watching them, but especially when you're like coached well and you know what's going on. The subject matter would really have to be something that I think would bring just a general positive to the listeners, not just like, well, I went in there and I won or lost and that's about it.
Yeah, or we could just have a bunch of our guys come over. We could set up a little stool for you to sit on in your backyard. And then you can just say a bunch of crazy stuff and we can go like, Alhamdulillah. Praise God. Or praise God, sorry. The wrong religion. Praise God.
You mean what's his the Mahdi guy?
Yeah. It's like a bunch of like white women sitting there and this guy's like, I am the prophet. And they're like, Sahula Hala. And you're just like, what? Just memorize that.
I've heard this so much that I'm a racially ambiguous person. You look like you could be my Uncle Jose.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Kobe Bryant too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like if Kobe had glasses.
Well, if you look at a picture of me from...
Was not the greatest NBA player of all time and somehow got into apologetics. Imagine just Kobe was... Oh, man.
Did I tell you the story about my high school health teacher kicking me out of class because I looked like Kobe Bryant?
No, but that's messed up.
Yeah, he was a Phoenix Suns fan, big time. And now this is when
that's like a different level of racist, by the way. Like you make a white guy into a black guy.
No. I sort of like, I would pick on him because this is when I was a crazy Laker fan. This is before you came to America. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Before you knew what basketball was.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was a basketball fan. I was a basketball fan.
Sure.
No, I didn't miss a Laker game for 3 seasons, bro. I'm serious. Every single game I watched. Every game. I saw Kobe Bryant airball. NBA finals. Not finals, but playoffs.
Yes.
So Lakers were on a good streak. I was in high school. I had this purple and gold pen I used to carry around my backpack. And the only reason I carried it around was for that guy's class. And I would show up to his class and I would take it out and I put it up, just standing up on my desk the whole time. The Lakers were playing the Suns. And I forget whether we swept them 4-0 or beat them 4-1 or something like that. So I walk into class, smug. I was just like, this guy's a Suns fan who's from Arizona. I'd always talk about Arizona. Took out and I put it there. Oof. And he looked at me and he said, and he used to call me Kobe. He goes, Kobe, get out of my class. Maybe sit outside for an hour and a half. And people were like, why are you outside? Like I did something wrong. I'm a Laker fan.
Do you guys see the Kobe resemblance? I see it. You could be so many things, bro.
Nicholas Anelka is the guy that a lot of people think I look like.
You look Indian. You look Hispanic.
Yeah.
You can look black.
I'm a child of the world.
Yeah.
But in my veins, the way my blood boils, I'm Armenian. Super chat. I'm just saying that I support this ministry. Don't lie, David. You just want to be number one in the in the rankings. This super chat has nothing to do with XP. Oh, like, is he saying like people are saying that? Dude, it's still at 75. So I don't know. I don't know how often it updates.
I think the more you compliment the second chair, it seems like from what I'm seeing, you go up in the leaderboard. Am I wrong here? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
By the way, guys, I'm wearing a shirt that says hate evil, love good. And every time I wear this while doing worship, because my my note stand blocks everything else, it just says hate. And I've had so many people come up to me, it's like, while you're singing about love, your shirt just says hate.
I've never even noticed that because I'm too busy worshiping Jesus. Tell those people, hey man,
Close your
why
eyes.
Why is your attention on me? It should be on Jesus.
That's right.
Novum says, you look like my least favorite wrestler from WWE. Who? But if he got into theology, who's that? Stone Cold Steve Austin?
By the way, did you watch the Jordan Peterson stuff?
I have not.
Oof.
Was it rough?
It was rough, man. He was sounding smart, but then saying all like the wrong stuff. I wish I could talk like that, by the way. You would get away. By the way, like Ali Dawa would get away with this if the person he's speaking to is not prepared.
Oh yeah.
Or not,
absolutely.
or hasn't dealt with this kind of stuff. Like the Christian, like a normal Christian, a normie Christian would fall into pieces with this kind of stuff. They'll be like, oh no, it's a square. You can't fit.
Yeah, if they don't know if they don't know the concepts. So I haven't seen it. My criticism of Jordan Peterson has been very consistent from the beginning, you guys. And my criticism has been that Jordan Peterson is not an expert in theology, and he shouldn't speak about it very much. Because he psychologizes everything, and he's more interested in that, so that's his natural strength, that's what he gravitates towards. And so therefore, it becomes really problematic. So it's a very fair criticism I think I've had of Jordan Peterson. I don't think he should mingle in theology.
Yeah, your guy Bill Craig responded to this, by the way.
No way.
And almost every single clip that he was being shown, he was like, "Yeah, he's wrong."
I didn't know this.
Like I was waiting for one clip where he's like, you know what, he makes a lot of sense. Every single clip he's wrong. And then there's one point where Jordan Peterson's asked like, so are you Christian or not? And it's like this annoying like liberal atheist guy. He's like, are you Christian or not? And he's like, no. He's like, you're nothing. Then you're nothing. And he's just like trying to bait him. And then then Bill Craig says something like he basically like he shows grace, but he goes like, if you're a Christian. If he is a Christian, like you can't deny Jesus before men.
That's my main issue. When people say, well, he might be a Christian, but he doesn't want to come out and tell people.
Yeah.
You can't just back up.
Yeah, no, you can't do that, man. I feel like we've thrown those things out.
If you deny me in front of man, I will deny you in front of my Father.
By the way, we've over-intellectualized Christianity sometimes where we forget about those things. Like, when is that verse in the correct context to use? Like, almost anyone you talk to, it's like, no, I just didn't feel comfortable sharing about my faith there. It's like, it's not a, like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like, you can't deny Jesus. You have to say, if you believe in him, you can't deny him.
That's right. And you don't necessarily have to defend everything.
No, of course
it's
not.
Just, but like if somebody says, are you a Christian? And you say, yes, I'm a Christian. And then they ask you a bunch of questions. You say, well, that's not my expertise. I can't really comment on that. Like, you don't have to have the answer for every single question out there.
Yeah.
It's very simple. I just want to read David's super chat. David said, whoa, can a guy not support his favorite Armenian apologist without people doubting, I guess, his pure motives?
That's good.
No, I was just going off of what you did last time where you were like, no, I'm giving these super chats so I can get first place in
By the way, how many Armenian apologists are there? You got to be one of like a handful. Like, you'd probably be in the top 10. At least in modern times.
I'm the only one I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
There was Rashtuni.
Rashtuni was not an apologist, but
yeah, he wasn't, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been serious thinkers, man. But in regard, look, the other thing is that I don't just want to be known as an Armenian apologist. I just want to be known as an apologist. But I happen to be Armenian, obviously. And by God's grace, I'm Armenian. By God's providence, I would say. I mean, that stuff. I have a high view of God's sovereignty. For all my Calvinist friends who might not think that I do. You're a Calvinist. Tell them how high my view of sovereignty is. It's so high that you sometimes confuse me for being a Calvinist.
Yeah, it's so high, you just pick another word for Calvinist and call yourself that. It's crazy. It's called a Molinist.
Yeah, I'll just go with Molina. Molina said that his view of God's sovereignty is higher than Calvin's view because in his view, God can do everything and maintain human freedom. And in Calvin's view, God does everything but doesn't maintain human freedom. So I think that's not bad.
I don't know about that.
Not bad.
By the way, I sent you that video if you want to look at it. It's very interesting.
This is the Bill Craig video?
No, this is this is the Joe Rogan one. It's very interesting.
How long is this thing?
It's like 5 minutes. You guys want to see this? This is good stuff, man. This is from, I think, a year ago.
But the thing is, Joe Rogan has a lot of quacks on.
As soon as you talk about this,
Joe Rogan has a lot of weirdo people on.
He had Donald Trump on.
Joe, let me rephrase.
As soon as you talk about this,
let me restate what I was saying. Joe Rogan has a lot of quacky people on. I'm not saying everybody Joe Rogan has is quacky, but when you guys, come on, man, aliens and ice walls,
yeah,
and, the Tartaria.
He has some weird guys on there, for sure.
You know who's the guy who was not weird that I was on Joe Rogan?
Mr. Huff.
Yeah, man, Wes Huff. The guy I had on a year before Joe Rogan had him on.
Listen to this. This is good stuff.
We're going to pull this out. We're going to see what this gentleman's saying. This should be, it says that memory hold time Joe Rogan discovered Muslim inbreeding.
Incredibly restrictive, misogynistic culture that's based on an ancient series of rituals and beliefs, you become a racist and a bigot by talking about a reality.
And they're not a race. You're talking about culture, and it's important to make that distinction.
Why is this guy dressed like a Mormon elder?
This guy's a legend, bro.
He looks like he's a Mormon elder, bro.
He looks like he just knocked on 40 doors before he got here.
I don't know who this is. Who's this guy?
I forgot his name, but yeah.
He's got the scientist's pens in his pocket and all that.
As a Western chauvinist, that I think the West is the best. I don't care what race you are. But I don't think that other cultures are different. I think they're worse. And Islam is 500 years behind us. We were shitty. We had witch hunts.
Inquisition.
We had the Inquisition. They're not caught up to us yet. They're not as advanced. And I think two big problems with them as far as progress goes is
are they going to be cussing a lot in this?
It's an exceptionally violent book.
No.
It doesn't have a 2.0 the way Christians do. And no one ever talks.
It doesn't have a 2.0.
Update. Okay, so this guy's not a Christian.
No, he's
Joe
not.
Rogan's. This is a while ago, so Joe
This is
Rogan's
before he
in
was
his
going to church.
funky phase.
Yes.
Just saying random. I have videos that I made a while back about Joe Rogan just saying like the most unintelligent things about Christianity. So the New Testament is not somehow updating the Old Testament to make God, I don't know, like more passive and kinder and stuff.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Hang on. The New Testament says that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The Bible speaks about Jesus Christ being the one that was guiding the Israelites through the desert. Jesus is there in the beginning when God created. That's John 1:1. Jesus has always been there. The judgments, all the stuff you see in the Old Testament, the law giving, Jesus is there. That's proper New Testament theology. Again, these people don't know what they're talking about when they make these comments. They make them in passing, and I always cringe. So I always feel like I gotta, comment on it. Go ahead, bro.
So I was gonna tell you in the William Lane Craig video, if I can pull that up, I'll pull it up. In his response, one of the guys asks about the problem of evil and kind of genocide that Yahweh committed in the Old Testament and stuff like that. One of the atheists asks Jordan Peterson this, and then he tries to answer it, and then when Bill Craig is giving his response, this is the kind of, I was like, I got to talk to Arthur about this. He was like, well, I would have led that conversation away from what he was talking about and talked more about Christianity, about the New Testament. He's like, I would talk about, I would lead him towards Christianity. It's like, oh, well, the subject is Christianity, so why aren't we talking about what Christianity teaches? And I was like, that's kind of a cop-out in my opinion. I don't know if he says this,
it's not a cop-out.
Yeah,
big shout out, by the way.
The wrong way, by the
big
way.
shout out to Reasonable Faith for giving me this mug right here. This is a Reasonable Faith mug. It has the Kalam cosmological argument on it. So shout out to Bill Craig. So It's not a cop-out. I'll tell you why it's not a cop-out. Because Bill Craig is a professional debater.
Mm.
And if you're going to get into a debate, he's not going to allow you to get away from the topic, the subject matter at hand. And the subject matter is Christianity. So he's like essentially focused on the essentials of Christianity. Bill Craig had a whole conversation with Alex O'Connor on the problem on the Canaanite genocide, and he spoke about that and the ethics of it.
Yeah.
And so it's not that he doesn't want to talk about it, but what he's trying to do is kind of steer the conversation in regards to that. It's a debate tactic. Okay, so it's a debate tactic to keep the thing on track, you could say, without going in those directions, misleading from the subject at hand. He's comfortable talking about that, and he says things that would make a lot of Christians uncomfortable in regards to God's command of these things, because he believes in divine command theory, and that works out itself in all sorts of different ways. So it's not a cop-out. It's just keeping it on point and, like arguing your point. That's what he's talking about. He's very comfortable talking about that.
So I just sent you a link.
Are we going to watch this weird Muslim thing?
I'd like to watch it, but if you want, we can jump to the other video first.
Let's watch the guy dressed up as a Mormon.
With this, but they have a major problem with inbreeding. They are marrying their first cousins again and again and again, and that makes your evolution go backwards.
Is this true? Where are you getting that from? I never heard that before.
Consanguinity, I think it's called. Muhammad said it's okay to marry your first cousin.
For real?
And you do that once or twice, it's pretty bad. And you do it for 40 generations, and now you're going back in time. Look at Iran in 1965. Mini skirts, woman doing chemistry with test tubes, driving around. Hi, you want to go to the go-go hop later? And now just garbage bags. Oh, Gregorian chants everywhere. They've gone backwards in time.
Hey, bro, this guy. Go away, man. Gregorian chants. Bro, Gregorian chants are beautiful. What is this guy talking about? Don't diss Gregorian chants like that.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's actually a square triangle.
Yeah, and the other thing is that Sunni Muslims don't believe in music, but Shiites do.
Yeah,
So Well, I'm not going to get into that.
Obviously, the Quran and the culture and religion, but also I think inbreeding enables them to get hijacked by these radicals. I mean, we've got guys who think they can beat snake bites in America. Can you imagine them taking over Christianity?
Do you think? Well, there are people in America, right, that do that still. It's hilarious.
But they're not taking over America the way they took over the Middle East.
You think it's the same? They're equivalent as far as their.
Yeah, I think Irshad Manji in The Trouble with Islam, she says a weird group of wasabis just hijacked the religion and sent it into the Dark Ages. And I go, yeah, but how were they vulnerable to hijacking? Christianity couldn't be hijacked by the snake guys. So why? And I think part of it was inbreeding.
This is your own theory.
No. Look at
Someone else
Muslims
has a
and
theory?
inbreeding, major problem.
I've never heard this before.
Especially with immigrants in Britain, like the Pakistanis in London. They'll have all kinds of serious inbreeding problems because that's an even smaller sample size you're dealing with. And every time I bring this up, people go, yeah, what about white people, hillbillies? They were inbreeding, or royalty, they were inbreeding. And I go, yeah. And it went real bad. It was a bad move. We learned the hard way. We saw Deliverance.
Well, this is the first I've heard of it, but
pull it up.
I'm sure.
Fact checks it here, by the way.
Sure, you're not lying.
In case you're worried about the fact checking.
Strap yourself in for this. 70% of all Pakistanis are inbred, and in Turkey, the amount is between 25 to 30%. More stillbirths.
Wait. Is this 70% of Pakistanis in England or 70% of Pakistanis just Pakistanis?
Yeah, I read it as just Pakistanis.
Immigrants, a rough estimate reveals that close to half of everybody living in the Arab world is inbred. A large percentage of the parents, this is blowing my mind, large percentage of the parents that are where's this coming from? What is this website?
I blog posted it before I came here.
TJ Media, but these are all the sources that went to this. This source is reproductivehealthjournal.com. This is a BBC investigation that went to it. So
listen to the BBC investigation in Britain several years ago revealed that at least 55% of the Pakistani community in Britain was married to a first cousin. The Times of India affirmed that, in quotes...
Okay, come on, bro. It's an Indian newspaper talking about Pakistanis. Forgive me for being a little skeptical here that Indians are like, those Pakistanis, they're inbred.
It's funny you caught that part, actually. I was like, I wonder if you'll catch that.
This is thought to be linked to the probability that a British Pakistani family is at least 13 times more likely than the general population to have children with the recessive genetic disorders. Holy shit. BBC's research also discovered that while British Pakistanis account for just 3.4% of all births in Britain, they accounted for 30% of all British children with recessive disorders and a higher rate of infant mortality. What in the fuck?
You said there's no cussing.
Labour Party MP has called for a...
Sorry, guys.
Some cussing.
It's Joe Rogan.
We
Anytime
can
he
handle
comes
this.
on,
We're
we
mature
can.
enough to handle this, guys.
Yeah.
But those are some crazy statistics, no? Like, this shocked me when I heard it.
This is...
And they go on to explain like what that causes if you keep it going.
Okay,
ban on first cousin marriage. Medical evidence shows that one of the negative consequences of inbreeding is a 100% increase in the risk of stillbirths. One study comparing the Norwegians and Pakistanis showed that the risk of the child dying during labor increases by 50%. Wow. That is insane.
I also read somewhere that a lot of the symptoms.
Hey, sorry. Just want to know. This is interesting, Tom. I'm looking at the community thing. Agape took first place. She hasn't sent any super chat or anything, and all the other people are trying to buy their way.
Wow, and she's dominating 125.
Yeah, she went up to 125 points. And my assumption is because she's actually interacting. Y'all need to interact. Learn from her.
Just copy paste some
Tom,
Jordan Peterson quotes.
Tom, you're in 12th place.
Shame on me.
12th place.
Now I'm number 2. See, I just put this is me interacting, and I went to
Novum is kicked out of the top. Where are you? Yeah, Novum is gone. I don't see Novum here. Do you?
No.
Radar's in 4th. Oh no, there it is. Ace. Yeah, Novum was Ace. Number 5. Yeah. Nick Quint is 7th. Let's continue with this. This is interesting. It was just interesting to me that I just saw Agape take that first spot.
Of inbred people are irrational rage, fanaticism, and they end up just describing ISIS.
Look at what it says here. That with the IQ points, it says findings on intelligence. Research shows that if one's parents are cousins, intelligence goes down 10 to 16 IQ points. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70, criterion for being retarded, in quotes. Are they using that word? Who uses that word? They use it like that? I've never seen it used like that. I've always seen it. I don't think it's a medical distinction. This is a real website. The fuck are we reading from?
Retardation. Did they say retard?
No, it says retarded. It says retarded. In quotes,
well,
see it there?
Legal. That is the medical definition.
Increases 400% among children from cousin marriages. Well, let me say that again. The risk of having an IQ lower than 70 increases 400% amongst children from cousin marriages. An academic paper published in the Indian National Science Academy found that the onset of various social profiles like visual fixation.
I'm doubting this more and more, bro. Like their entire sources are Indian.
No, man, it's legitimate. I'm telling you. If you look at
that's
secular,
like a trust me, bro.
No. I mean, if you look at statistics on just inbreeding, you'll see very similar stuff.
Okay.
From India. Source from India.
It's just kind of crazy that it's the Indians and they're talking about Pakistanis. Grain of salt right here.
Social smile and sound seizures, oral expression, and hand grasping are significantly delayed among the newborn inbred babies. What in the fuck?
Good name for a band.
Newborn inbred babies?
Yeah.
That's a punker band if I ever heard one. Wow. Jesus Christ.
Then why don't we know this? Because people don't like the truth.
Islamophobia. They don't like being called Islamophobic by even discussing it. Like, we're going to be called Islamophobic for even bringing this up.
Information has to come out. We need this information about inbreeding. I think it explains the hijacking of Muslim religion. You know, Hasidic Jews have the same problem, but because they're aware of this and the truth is out, they have all kinds of elaborate DNA tests they do on each other. Not everyone takes it, but rabbis will encourage this for us to check you out and make sure you're not related and encourage this marriage because it makes the most genetic sense.
I had no idea. You blew my mind with that.
In the video description.
Okay. That just took us down a certain.
No, but I mean, it's a real thing, Art. Like, if you go on Instagram and stuff like that, and you're looking at these Muslim sheikhs, like, speaking, they say these things. It's not like we're taking something that Islam used to
they
like
believe it. The question's not whether they believe it and practice it, and they do practice it.
Yeah, they do for sure.
Let me see. Agape says, "Dude, I'm pretty sure I have family who married their cousins." Like in my family, y'all know Sarah was Abraham's half sister, right? Yes, we do. Yeah. Yes, we do. The thing is that when you, we'd have to pull this up. there is a law in the Mosaic law. Can you do that? Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
There should be a law about marrying your cousin in the Old Testament. So Tom's going to pull that up and give me the reference to it. Jerome, welcome, Jerome. Seems like you've been sleeping on us a little.
Came
here.
at the right time. We're talking about marrying your cousins.
Bro, stop. He said, I see that you have an empire-adjacent YouTube title. Jerome refers to all the Christian apologists online as the empire. Comes from the apologetics empire that David Wood was trying to grow and dominate. But who would want that guy as the leader of a thing? He's crazy.
So all I'm seeing is Leviticus 18 and 20. God gives a list of...
Wait, hang on. Leviticus
18 and
chapter
20.
18?
Yeah, and chapter 20.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a... Well, I don't know if you want to pull this up. It says gives a list of forbidden sexual relationships.
Yeah.
Mostly close blood relatives, and then cousins are not mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac and Rebecca, first cousins once removed.
Yeah, we know that one.
Jacob.
Yeah, but I'm talking post-law. I'm talking post-Mosaic law, not pre-Mosaic law. Because even if you read chapter 18, like if I pull this up, chapter 18 begins with what? It says, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the people of Israel and say to them, I'm the Lord your God. You shall not do as they do in the land of Egypt, where you lived, and you shall not do as they do in the land of Canaan. And then it gives to which I'm bringing you. So don't be like these people. Well, Abraham and his descendants, let's just say, pre-Mosaic law, would have been people of that land and would have done things in accordance to the practices of that land.
Yeah.
So we're not.
Levirate marriage, kept inheritance within the family. Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10. Often meaning a brother or close male relative would marry a widow. If a brother wasn't available, a close cousin could fulfill this role.
Yeah. But so none of you shall approach one of his close relatives to uncover their nakedness. Uncovering their nakedness, that has to do with sexual relations. And it says, not uncover the nakedness of your father, which is the nakedness of your mother, which is, she is your mother. She'll not uncover the nakedness. So it goes on to give.
Man, I brought us to a weird place.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, guys. But what you could pull up right now if you want is I was really annoyed at Things Answer here, Bill Craig's, and I just want you to hear it because maybe I didn't do a good job explaining it. But if you could hear it and tell me, like, I don't think this is an appropriate response, by the way.
The pink.
Oh.
You don't think it's an appropriate response?
Like, I don't think it's a good response by Bill Craig to say, if someone's asking a
Jordan
question
Peterson.
like that.
It might not be. This is 42 minutes, bro.
No. 26 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah. Put it at 26:50.
50.
Yeah.
Did ChatGPT tell you when this is?
No. I just pulled it up. I just recently watched this video.
Oh, claim number 4. Okay. I had to scratch my shoulder. Okay. Hey, Chad, we're good? What's up, Chad? How you doing, Chad? You seen those like streamers on what's it called? Twitch?
Man, this is distracting everyone, this ranking thing.
It's great. It's actually keeping people engaged in various ways. Like, it's actually working.
I like it.
It's actually working. Super chats have gone up. More people are giving super chats.
Yes, please give super chats.
Hey, Tom, you're in second place.
I know.
How did that happen?
Because I was commenting. It's by comments, brother. Like, if I comment right now, I'll go first place.
No, look. I looked it up the other day.
I'm going to be first right now.
YouTube leaderboard ranking system. Okay? So here's what it says. Here's what it says, Tom. It says YouTube uses a complex algorithm to rank. Oh, this is videos. Community leaderboard. Let's see. So they're for live streams. Okay. Ranks viewers based on their engagement. Viewers earn points by interacting with the stream through live chat messages, super chats, super stickers, and gifts. with the top 50 most engaged viewers appearing in the leaderboard. Okay. So the top 3 engaged viewers receive special badge next to their name during the chat, in the live chat, to, do that. Viewers can opt out of the leaderboard by toggling off features in their YouTube app settings. Interesting. Only viewers aged 18 and over are eligible to participate. Viewers earn points by actively participating in the live stream through various interactions. Yet commenting and interactions probably like the most, but it's all of it.
Yeah.
You can't just write Alhamdulillah and then get
Now
first
we're all
place.
stuck at 150 though. It seems like that's the cap.
No, I don't think that's the cap. It'll update.
Let's figure this out.
It's gonna update. We're figuring this out. Somebody's probably made a YouTube video on this that you can watch on how it works. Okay, here's Jordan Peterson and Bill Craig responding to this stuff. He was on with Sean McDowell. I haven't seen this video. Thanks, Sean. Sean's a great guy.
Hi there.
It's very nice to meet you.
What's
I'm
your
Ian.
name?
I'm Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Yes. So God says
Ian's a tall dude.
Yeah.
that you can own people as property. He says that you can beat them with a rod too. He commands genocide in Deuteronomy, in Numbers, and in Samuel. I mean, they have a goddamn baby barbecue in Numbers. Like, is all of this in line with Christian ethics?
All right, Dr. Craig, this is one you've clearly heard before and dealt with.
Yeah.
But is Peterson right that atheists accept Christian morality but deny the religion's foundational stories? And what do you make of this young man jumping right in on slavery and genocide?
Yeah, I think that Peterson's claim is, again, a very plausibly true socio-historical claim. Everybody knows that Western civilization and its mores have been shaped by Christianity. Christianity has been the most powerful influence in the West. And so even unbelievers like these students who are born and raised in Western culture will have largely adopted Christian values. I think as a socio-historical claim, that is almost indisputable. And so I think Peterson's claim is right and isn't refuted by this student trying to show inconsistencies in Old Testament ethics.
So I just want you to pay close attention to where Bill Craig starts this. And this has to do with his debate training. Peterson's made a claim. And the student responses doesn't go against the claim he's made. He's looking at this as a debate prompt. You can't go away from debate prompts. Okay. Now, with that said, I'm going to let him finish and I'll tell you what the direction I would have taken it in if I was Peterson.
Now, watching this, it occurred to me that Peterson could easily deflect this objection, if I'm not mistaken, by saying that his claim was about Christian ethics. Isn't that correct? Wasn't his claim that Christian morality?
Yeah, he talked about Christian morality and the foundational stories being at the religion's basis.
Could you repeat that again,
this
Sean?
part.
You
I don't
froze
like this
momentarily.
Oh, yeah. So he's saying that atheists accept Christian morality, but deny the religion's
Right.
foundational stories.
Right. So what he could say is, look, young man, I'm not talking about the Old Testament. I'm talking about the New Testament. My claim was about Christian ethics, the ethics of Jesus and the church. And so these incidents that you're protesting against aren't part of Christian ethics. And so what the student would have to show is that Western culture hasn't been shaped by New Testament ethics and that he himself hasn't absorbed the values of that culture. It just is irrelevant to the claim to point to these atrocities in the Old Testament.
There's no way you don't think that's a cop-out answer, as
It's
much
not.
as you love him.
No. Dude, if it was a cop-out answer, I would tell him it's a cop-out answer. And I would have gone about it in a different direction. He's in debate mode. And notice the language. It's a deflection. He's not saying it is a deflection. He's telling us what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not a cop-out that he's not answering, but in specifically to the debate prompt, it's a deflection. Essentially, he's probably thinking that it's unhelpful, or that in order for Jordan Peterson to keep the upper hand and defend his claim, he's got to do that.
Yeah, but even in his response, in the way William Lane Craig says he would respond,
Yeah,
it's weird because he says something like, I would say Yeah,
We're talking about the New Testament.
We're talking about the New Testament.
That I would disagree. Well, not disagree, but I wouldn't frame it like that. The way I would speak about it is that there's a lot of stuff in the Bible, but those things aren't prescriptive to ethics and morality. Just because you see people doing things in the Old Testament or even in the Bible doesn't mean that it's prescriptive that this is the way people should do things. Because it's not a specific teaching.
But the question is on God and
Yeah, so
the
what?
ethics of God. So if God commanded these acts,
Yeah.
is the guy's question.
Yeah, it's situational ethics.
Yeah. So
So
it's
that's what I'm saying is Craig can take this anywhere, bro. The guy's a genius when it comes to this philosophy. He can talk about situational ethics and he can talk about how God compromises to human evil and, X, Y, and Z. And God does. Very simple things like... these are the people who run around and say, look, David had more than one wife. Polygamy should be a thing. It's like, it's going to be the same response. You'd probably give a similar response to that if the subject's about polygamy. You'd probably quote Jesus quoting that when God created in the beginning, he made them male and female for a union. So on. Like, these are normal conversations when it comes about sexual ethics and sexual morality, not immorality, sexual morality. And so you kind of default on these things and then help explain these other things. But I would just say, cool, yeah, they're situational ethics.
I like what Excellence is saying here. He says both Old Testament, New Testament are foundational to Christian morality.
Amen.
I don't agree with the... and then he says, sorry, I meant to read this comment. It feels disingenuous. I think deflection works if you can resolve the questioning by first resolving what you narrow the question by before abstracting to the bigger picture you started with.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think you guys have a solid point. I think what Craig is trying to do is say that Jordan Peterson could just ignore the question and defend his position. And he's right. He could. And in certain circumstances, he probably should. It really depends on the nature of the conversation. Because this is not like a normal conversation you're sitting across. It's timed. It's like a debate kind of format to it. And you're saying a prompt that you got to defend. And you have a limit, so they have a limited amount of time. So yeah, you deflect. That doesn't mean there is no answer. That doesn't mean necessarily, it doesn't mean you don't know an answer. Maybe Jordan Peterson doesn't know an answer or have an answer. But I think that's what he's at least coming at it with. There's plenty of things, by the way, that Bill Craig says that I don't agree with. Just putting that out there. Like, I'm very uncomfortable to his divine, in regards to his ethics specifically, I probably disagree with him the most when it comes to his divine command theory. I tend to hold to a natural law theory, and he doesn't. And those go in different directions. So it's not like I'm just trying to defend it. I'm just trying to understand what he's trying to do. Excellence says, I do not abide using super chats for rankings. Thanks for the
As he
super
sends
chat.
a super chat.
Thanks for the
Beautiful.
super chat. True, you got to get to the heart of the issue. I get what you're saying, Arthur. Yeah, I'm just being fair. I can see why this would make you uncomfortable, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. I just so he's responding. So William Lane Craig is responding to the Jordan Peterson debate, but he's not responding to coach him on a debate.
Mm-hmm.
He's responding to his claims. So I would say in a situation like this where Craig is responding to the claims made or the questions that are asked, it would be better to give a
maybe so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Sean does push him. Let's see what Sean does.
Yeah.
Like, if I was Sean, I would say, I get you. That's the way you would go about it. But how would you answer the guy's question? If it wasn't like in that format. Let me see what Sean does.
I had a couple thoughts on this one.
Sure, go ahead.
Peterson does a really good job in his book, We Who Wrestle with God, of working through these grand Old Testament stories of Elijah, of Jonah, of Moses. And he mentions some of these troubling stories, but does so in light of the larger narrative of the Old Testament. So he studied the Old Testament in depth and asks, how do these stories fit in with the theme of the Old Testament, the character of the Old Testament God? And my challenge just would be for people who are watching this, rather than starting with the troubling passages. I would never say ignore them, but this young man jumps up and goes, genocide, slavery, and those are tough passages. I want to say, let's slow down in the way Peterson has done this and really try to understand them within their context and time and place first. And then I think we'll have more tools to begin to make sense of them. So for anybody watch this, I say just hit pause. Those are fair questions. Bill and I have dealt with those in different times and in different ways. But would you lean in first and straw man the God of the Old Testament and in light of the New Testament, like you said, before doing so?
I think he means
that would be
steel
one
man,
point
not straw
I
man.
would make.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to this one?
So okay, what do you think about what Sean's saying? Do there?
Yeah, I think what Sean said could have even been Peterson's response.
I think so.
Like literally that, like you're picking and choosing harsh passages that we deal with and stuff like that. And that would have been a better, if I was Craig, I would have said that.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems really odd. Even if you're giving a debate training, it seems really odd to tell the guy you're training, like, hey, instead of giving that guy, because, okay, so the way I see it, Art, is even in those moments, if you're trying to reach out to an atheist student, you're trying to tell them the truth. Like, you're trying to bring them to the light, at least unless it's just merely a debate for you. So you want to use those opportunities, even if they veer off course of what the prompt is or what the claim is. You want to bring them back and you want to say, well, this is who God really is. And yes, there are these troubling passages, but if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, his plan for his people and what he would bring about, salvation, you want to bring that. You don't just want to say, well, my initial claim wasn't about that, so let's move on. It just seems disingenuous. It doesn't seem like you're trying to win the person over. Now, maybe William Lane Craig doesn't think that Jordan Peterson's job there is to win the guy over, and it's just to win a specific
Well, I don't know
claim.
whether Bill Craig thinks that Jordan Peterson is a Christian, first and foremost. I remember
he says something very powerful at the end. That's what I quoted, where he says he basically, if he is a Christian, and even if he's a baby Christian, he's still denying Jesus.
Yeah.
So
well, they've met and been on stage together, and this is when Peterson was making claims about being a naturalist and stuff, and Bill Craig told him straight up, "Hey, you need to become a supernaturalist. Your world will make a lot more sense. Your worldview will make a lot more sense." Yeah. Look, when it comes to like answering questions, we're not all going to answer questions the same way. Partly because we don't all have the same things to draw upon in answering those questions. Another one is just like being aware socially and culturally and individually, like who's asking the question, what their motivations are and all that. And then having a end result. Like, what's the point of this conversation? Where am I trying to get to? Could it be better? Would he have done better? Yeah, probably. And again, I'll give you an example. I remember there was a petition where people were signing trying to get Bill Craig to go on Joe Rogan. And I remember telling friends, I disagree with this. I don't think Bill Craig would be good on Joe Rogan. And the reason why I don't think Bill Craig would have or would be good on Joe Rogan, it'd be a very interesting conversation, obviously. But just his personality, maybe his age, his awareness culturally and societally as to what's happening, being in the know when it comes to like modern culture, he wouldn't be. I think there's a lot of things that could be spoken about that would kind of go over his head. Now, I'll give you an example. I know this for sure. When Wes went on Joe Rogan's, Wes did a lot of research on stuff that Joe Rogan has talked about in the past. Weird alien theories, weird this and that, like a lot of stuff. Where Wes was prepared for those conversations. They never came up. And maybe he'll go back another time and they'll come up. But he had prepared himself. And they're really wacky theories and ideas. But had really, really had to prepare for it. I don't think Bill Craig would have probably cared to prepare for that. He's such a humongous expert.
Yeah. And I think what he does really well is he doesn't feel like he needs to answer every single question the person has at that moment.
Yes.
The way Craig speaks, it's like he can he can take part of the question that's being asked and dissect that and give his thing without trying to like hammer out every single thought he has on that subject.
Well, partly because if the goal is to help someone come to know Jesus, then we can have conversations, and this is what Sean's talking about a little bit. Then we can have conversations about like an inner dialogue amongst Christians and how we disagree on this and that, because not every single Christian agrees on our view of ethics.
Yeah.
Now, it's obviously the case to anybody who studied that if it wasn't for Christianity, I'm talking about Christianity, and there's a distinction here that should be made. And maybe this is what Jordan Peterson should have done. Maybe he did. I haven't seen the video. But there's a distinction between Christianity and its product in regards to society versus specific things in the Bible. A lot of people misunderstand this. For example, let's take Jesus. This comes into politics. Let's take Jesus' example of, if somebody asks you to walk a mile, walk two. If somebody wants, your shirt, give them your cloak. These sorts of things. Yesterday, I saw an Instagram post where somebody had made a comment. It is not Christian to separate families from one another. And the conversation was about immigration. Now, is it Christian or is it not? If we're going to look at a Bible passage like the one I just quoted, I can definitely build a case that it's not Christian to do that. 100%. But that's not what's happening when we're talking about Christian political theory, for example. Because a lot more goes into the conversation of what like a political theory as a Christian would look like. Or you can quote specific passages that are ethical in nature, or against that. Oh, God says go do this, and then the people go do this in the Bible. But that's not necessarily what's going on in regards to Christian moral philosophy and its developments and how it's impacted culture and all these things. So, because some of those Christian, I'm not talking about the stuff in Scripture, I'm talking about like extra biblical Christian things that have come out through the ages. You're getting, Christian thought that's using philosophical ideas of like Platonism or Aristotelianism and developing, further grounding for political systems, ideologies, philosophy, ethics, metaphysics, epistemology. And so to say that Christianity is that, I could have just told that guy, well, I'm not talking about any specific passages in the Bible. I'm talking about what Christianity as a system has produced. And there's no denial of that, where you can have both of those things be true. Right? You can say, yeah, God ordered this and these things happened, and then we've produced these things as well. Those things aren't contradictory.
That's right.
So there's a lot to be said about that, and claims need to be qualified properly in order for us to have, I would say, genuine, proper dialogue with one another.
Good stuff.
Okay. Excellence has taken back first place. Agape is in second. Tom, you've been kicked to third. Jerome is in fourth place. He came late and he said, I'm leaving. He came in, he said, I watched this later, and left. And the guy has 75 points. How does that work?
Yeah, what kind of cheating system? Because he's commenting from England. That's where the video is taking place. It's all making sense. YouTube.
As soon as you call.
Okay.
See, I got some good reaction videos for you today.
Yeah, we did. We've done good. Hey, Chad, how you doing? How you guys feeling? We were told by a friend of ours, he doesn't watch our stream on Mondays. Do we want to address this gentleman?
Yeah,
He's probably not watching.
Well, if he's watching, he would know what we're doing right now.
Yeah, he
engaging our audience.
He straight up said, you guys are boring. I can't watch it. Because he said, you don't engage the audience enough. Chat, is this true? Do we not engage the audience enough? When specifically, this is when me and Tom are on together.
I feel like you're always engaging the audience. That's the weird thing.
I'm always engaging the audience, like when I'm alone. But he was talking about the both of us. Like we talk to each other, we don't engage the audience. If you think this is false, sorry, I got to make this easy. Our friend saying that we don't engage the audience enough. If you think he's right, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he's wrong, put 2. So if he's right that we don't engage the audience, put 1. If he's wrong, put 2. And then we're going to show him that.
Yeah, definitely a 2. 2s are winning right now easily.
Yeah, for sure it's a 2. 100%.
I mean, I feel like we should... Why doesn't somebody hop on, engage with us?
What do you mean? Oh, look at that.
Jump on a call or something.
You want me to open
it up? Open it up. Let them jump in. Let's have a debate. There, my wife's here. What's wrong with you, woman?
Oh, wow. She said 1.
I feel like we engage the audience a lot, man.
Absolutely.
I feel like we do. I mean, compared to other channels, they have like messages just...
Yeah. That's because we don't have messages.
I don't think you guys comment enough. That's the problem. I don't think you guys engage with us enough. Engage more.
I'm hurt. I'm mad at you guys. You don't talk to me enough. Arnold said at the time he said it 1, but now 2.
That's funny. Someone jump on. And
no, I'm not gonna open that.
Come on. I was gonna say never mind. I've gotten you in enough trouble today with inbreeding and
Tyler saying, "Do y'all have the same shelf?" Hey, you realize we're sitting next to each other, right?
Look at our hands. They're gonna connect right now. Oh wow, you did this good. I can't come into your frame. This is really weird.
There it is. Don't fall over now.
We're in the same building, guys.
We're right next to each other.
I have a beautiful side view of him.
So yes, it is the same shelf. Oh, depends on the subject. Now you guys are getting annoying. I just asked a simple question. You guys go off topic a lot, but it's okay. Wait, we dealt with the topic. We're not off topic. Don't hate.
It's not off topic. Come on. We started with the square circle analogy stuff. We went to inbreeding in Islam.
Look, Arnold said, I think that pinned comment took me from 16 to 4. What pinned comment? I didn't pin a comment.
Wait, you didn't answer my question about the mural and cross behind Tom.
Bro, hang on. I think if I pull up their comments on the screen, they get more points. Let's try something here. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to pick someone in the lower rankings. Ace is in 11th place now. What place is Buddy in? Let's see. Buddy. Let's see. I'm on here and almost never comment, but I'm always at work. It's all good, bro.
Who is this?
This is Buddy Rivera.
What's up, buddy?
Let's see if it's going to...
No, I don't think that matters. I think it's the people actually commenting and engaging.
Yeah, it might be. What were we saying? Someone said I didn't answer what?
Something about the cross and mural behind me?
Hang on. You're pulling the audio line. Careful.
Sorry.
Your foot's on it. What mural?
This cross right here?
Yeah, what about it?
This is when Arthur says something heretical. I just lifted over him.
But who said this? I want to know what the question is.
The question was, why did you ignore...
Oh, excellent, says.
Yes.
Why didn't you answer my question? I didn't even see it. About the mural and cross behind Tom.
Is this an Armenian apostolic cross?
It's an Armenian cross.
Are you
This was a gift from...
Is this a sign that you're
No, it's not.
leaving?
No, stop talking.
You're leaving to
It's
Orthodoxy.
It's actually not. But it
looks like it, yeah.
It's a modern rendition of it. This is one. That's an Armenian cross right there. That's an actual Khachkar from Armenia.
Really?
Yeah. That's an actual Armenian crosses are beautiful because they have quite a bit. But a pastor friend of mine gave me this. So, but I don't know what mural he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't see a mural. You're freaking me out, man. Is there a mural that's just appearing behind me?
No, but Tom, can you put this? There's a random piece of wood behind you with nails in it.
Yeah, I see. You got some cool stuff up here.
Do you know what that is? Careful that doesn't fall.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Do you know what the piece of wood is?
No, I don't know what this is. What is this?
It's a 2x4.
Yes, but what is it? What's the significance behind this?
This is a piece of 2x4 that I gave a sermon a while back, and my sermon was about idolatry. And everybody got a piece of 2x4 when they came into church. And it was supposed to signify the idols in their lives. Because we build idols from wood and stone and stuff. Because
they nailed it to something?
Yeah, no, and the nails was another sermon I gave years later that I gave out a nail. And the nails are, it's killed. It's been nailed. So I just keep this around. I keep it around because we all have all sorts of idols in our lives, and this is a reminder of mine. I know people who've actually have kept it for a very long time, and it's like in their car, sitting in their car. It's a reminder. I know a guy that took it and used it in his mechanic shop to prop stuff up. Now people know we're actually in the same room because we're handing stuff to each other.
Red Rider, man, I love what you just said. I've been watching that YouTuber that just went in, ran on stage at the Benny Hinn thing. It's unbelievable. Tyler Oliveira.
What are you talking about?
Go to Tyler Oliveira. This is so good. I watched this whole thing, and then I've seen him before, but it hadn't showed up in my algorithm for a while. And then so I went back and watched this stuff on slavery and Indonesia's cigarette addiction. So he just did
Okay, so this guy just did, I saw something popped up. He did one on, what's his name?
God hates white.
I watched that one too.
He did one on, I exposed the most corrupt churches.
Yes. That's that. So he runs up on stage, and Benny gets so scared, man. It's so good. Oh, you should definitely pull that clip up.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the clip, but the longer version is in the middle or towards the end, where he goes to a bunch of churches. Oh yeah, there it is. Go there, right there. Yeah.
So what does this guy do for a living?
Guys, it's crazy. The Benny Hinn security guard, they try to kill these guys, actually kill them. These guys are hospitalized. They run them over with golf carts. Trying to kill them, and they take his camera and other stuff, and they start banging on his head with his gear, trying to kill this guy. It's crazier than you think. This whole stuff that's happening.
I haven't
Check this part out. This is good.
Hang on.
You may be seated.
Benny Hinn is a false prophet.
Enough is enough, brother. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Look what he says here.
Out of your men out. It's all right. No problem. It's all right, brother. Calm down.
While I was getting the George Floyd treatment, fighting for each breath, my cameraman ran for his life to avoid.
By the way, he does an amazing job in this video of exposing these people and then speaking to people who have left the Word of Faith stuff and the healing schools and healing ministries, and who are still believers who expose these things and talk about the truth of Christianity. He does an amazing job of analyzing the false stuff, then bringing true believers there to explain it away.
So this guy's not a Christian.
No. This guy's he's a freelance
So he's the guy that jumped up there. He said he's abusing the word of God for money.
Yes, but only here. He goes to the other churches, actually sits through.
Yeah, but he's not a Christian. He's just saying.
No.
That's interesting.
But he does sort of defend Christianity in his videos, which seems like. Anyways, if you keep playing this right
Avoid
here,
a similar fate.
This
so
is
we're
amazing.
Get into the scriptures. Can we do that now?
Only to get captured and beaten with his own camera.
I was hit twice. I was hit twice with a golf cart, assaulted by a person here. Then he tackled me and threw me into the middle of a active road. And after that, they kept beating my head. And then they grabbed my camera and they were trying to delete the footage. Actively.
I just got hogtied, body slammed and tackled. Pasha went running and apparently they clipped him with a golf cart and proceeded to beat his head in and delete the footage. So things are not looking good. We are headed to the hospital right now where he is. Gonna make sure he's alive. Apparently they deleted all the footage from the camera, so it's gone. I've been trespassed. I'm headed to the hospital, making sure Pasha's alive. In an ironic twist of fate, the church themselves beat the shit out of us. And what it sounds like, beat the shit out of Pasha. So we're gonna check in.
They tampered with video evidence. They deleted the first one. They could not touch the second one.
How are you telling them what happened there? What did they do?
They ran me over with a golf cart twice. I'm gonna die today. He threw me into the middle of the active roadway in front of a semi-truck. He beat my head on an asshole. Like 4 or 5 people on top of me. Beating my head, ankles, knees. They snagged the camera out. They hit my head with the camera.
Shout out the son of Bishop Dan Willis, off-duty cop Chad Willis, for throwing me around like a ragdoll with his goon squad and giving me the George Floyd chokedown. And shout out this bald security schmuck for trying to murder Pasha with a golf cart. This video is by no means meant to be an attack on faith, but rather a demand for accountability to those who distort the word of the Bible, predate on the biblically illiterate, desperate, naive, and poor to make themselves wealthy. And in the words of Matthew 7:15, beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
What they do is scriptural macaroni. So they'll grab a verse here, and a verse here, and throw those all together and be like, see, if we make that soup, that's who I am. So for example, in Genesis 2, it says, we shall make them in the image of God. So the creation of us. Big issue that we have there is that they leave out likeness.
Not exact replica, one for one.
We're not like a clone or anything. Okay. We are like God. We have the image of God.
It's so clear if you just read it for yourself, without somebody else twisting.
This guy's dad was a Word of Faith pastor right here, and he got out of it and shunned by his dad, but didn't leave the faith. Look what he says here.
Little verse out of its context and holding it against you, and realize that, hey, they've been lying to me the whole time.
God, he is big enough and more than capable of communicating what he wants us to know. Go back and look exactly at what he said.
Anyways,
so this is why I'm constantly telling people, become good students of the Bible. So you don't get bamboozled, right? You don't get
that's such a good. You should watch that video, Art, when you have time.
Yeah, I will.
Because he goes.
So it popped up. I just thought it was only about what's his name, the guy on the thumbnail.
Psycho guy. Yeah. No. Yes.
So that's why I didn't watch it. But this has popped up on my feed.
Oh, it's good. He goes to multiple churches, and he goes to a healing. He actually Can you go to that part? I hope you don't get like kicked out. So if you scroll a little towards the middle, he goes to meet Joel Osteen. This is a healing conference, but there's one where you'll see him in the Joel. Yeah, right here, right there. Yeah, start playing right there.
The whole thing, or
no, just that from where you are right now.
So you guys do every week, so get that down in your spirit. God can open doors that no person can shut. In your business, in your finances, in every good area. For your children, for the schools they need to go to.
But did the attendants come here to worship God?
You can skip a little bit just so you see his meet and greet with Joel Osteen. He gets a meet and greet right here.
With Joel right after service.
People are donating. Prosperity is to come. What you giveth, you may receiveth in 10 times. That's the hope at the very least.
What you giveth, you may receiveth.
I mean, I guess I have a few basic questions, but I really want to know...
What is the justification for the belief in that giving to God is required for God to bless you? And of course, has Joel himself profited off of God's word to enrich himself?
Come on, Joel. Let us in, please, God. Please. For just one more, please. Please, man.
I have to have them out at a certain time.
Oh.
We do have books that are already signed that
please,
I can
man. This close.
Now listen.
Oh, yes.
I need a promise.
All right.
You got to go quickly.
All right.
Can't dilly-dally.
All right.
Don't start a story when I was 5.
Fair.
Okay.
How messed up is that?
So much.
Don't start a story when I was 5. Like, he doesn't care what you have to say.
I'm doing good. Could you sign my book?
I'd be glad to.
All right, thank you so much. I'm from Austin, Texas. Joel, I have a question for you. Do you think you've used the word...
Security's already like, you got to leave.
Yeah, they're ready.
Word to profit? Like grossly? Do you think you distorted the Lord's word to make money? Whoa. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I asked you not to do that in the obedience of God. He is a...
Guys, you have to watch this whole thing. He actually at one point...
Go ahead.
At one point, he goes into Joel Osteen's church, and they have this bookstore, and it's a gigantic library of all the books he's written, all the things they're selling. And he goes like, and he's serious about this. He goes like, I see every kind of book except the Bible. He's like, I can't find the Bible anywhere here. It's a very good like little documentary he does here.
Not to do it, and you still did that.
Okay, you're
That
right.
is not cool. God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless you. All right. I mean, pretty softball question, I thought. God bless. I don't even know what the problem was, I'll be honest. I kind of stumbled the question out. How many books have you sold today?
Good amount. Clearly, Joel didn't want to give me anything besides an opportunity to buy his newest book. So I headed to the River Church in Tampa, Florida.
Speak the blessings, bro. Speak the blessings. I have not kept up with the books that Joel's been writing.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm not going to comment anymore. There's as most of you guys know, there was recently like that whole conversation over merchandising and profiting off of God's word or whatever like that, right? That's, certain someone thought he knew what was up. There is an aspect, I think, of like it's the question. Can you profit off of God's word? That kind of a context needs to be explained. It's not enough. Like it might be enough for someone like Joel Osteen, but it's not enough when you kind of generalize it to like any given pastor who's preaching the word and gets paid for it. Like, are they profiting off of God's word, or are they being compensated for work that they're doing? Right? And what does it mean to profit? And what's like okay or not okay?
Yeah.
Can I write a commentary and sell that and profit from it? Is that okay? Those are all important questions, I think, that need to come up. And that it's unfair. And I get the context of it. It's immediately like quick to be like, yeah, like, you bought a jet. And then there's an aspect of like the ministry versus the individual.
Yeah.
That these people set up ministries, but they get the profit from the ministries in a very unreasonable kind of way, versus like the ministry getting money and hiring whatever 1,000 other preachers, let's just say, right? And the money's going to that, and then everybody's being compensated properly and well, and given all their where they live and whatever that looks like. That's the sort of stuff that I'm concerned about, where it's like too easy just to say. Again, easy when it comes to some people who it's obviously, especially because they're teaching incorrect stuff as well. I hope you understand what I'm
definitely
getting at here.
It depends. Context matters in this, but clearly the context of this was like false prophets or false teachers. So it was a legitimate question to ask him, but I feel like he's so tired. Joel is probably so tired of that question.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I just think maybe the questions need to be a bit better, because in regards to like Joel's understanding, he's gonna say, well, the reason why I'm rich is because I'm speaking these blessings. Like my life is proof that this stuff's working. Right? Like usually, not saying Joel's a pyramid scheme kind of guy. It could lead into there, but it's the kind of pyramid scheme sort of stuff. It's like, look at the guys at the high up. You can be just like them, right?
Oh, it's definitely that, bro. You're not. It's definitely 100% that. It's give me your money so that you can have blessings. And then if you watch this video, it shows them saying like, be patient with God, though. Like just because you gave it today and you didn't receive it, that doesn't mean it's not coming.
Yeah,
you just got to be patient with God, and it's kind of like what is it called? It's like recycling church members, right? So you got like bad churches. Me and my brother were speaking about this yesterday, Art. You got bad churches that teach bad theology, and then there's a bunch of people going to them, and then you look 15, 20 years down the line, and that church still exists, and it still has 200 whatever people.
Yeah, but it's not the same people.
It's not the same people. So it's recycling. People grow. They're like, this is stupid. Like, now that I'm a mature, serious believer, this stuff doesn't sound right. So they leave, and then the next group comes because of whatever, an exciting worship or good camaraderie, and they turn into Christians. They're baby Christians, and again, 10 years later, like, this stuff is kind of weird. And boom, boom, recycles. That's what these guys do. Eventually, people understand that this stuff's a lie. Eventually, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm not getting blessed. This is off. They watch some YouTube videos. They're like, oh, my pastor's being exposed. By the time they're gone, there's another guy, another poor soul who's been brought in, thinking that, you know, at one point they go like, at one point, one of these guys says, I told someone who's at the healing school today, he had a blood draw for whatever cancer he had, so they could check it. I told him, don't go there. Forget about it. Just come over here. Just come over here and let us pray for you. And, you know, ruin lives like that, these guys do.
Oh, yeah.
So...
update on the ranking here. Excellence is in first, 150. David's caught up. It seems like his interaction has helped him out. He's at 150. He's in second place. Agape's in third with 150. Tom, you're in fourth with 150. And Arnold is 125 in fifth. So that's the latest update there on ranking as folks.
I feel like Agape has some kind of cheat code here.
Why?
It's been Agape first place for a while. Oh, no, now...
No, it's excellence.
Now it's excellence. Okay. I feel like excellence as a cheat.
This guy's like, anybody that's ahead of him. Anybody that's ahead of him has a cheat code.
That's funny.
Tyler says, how long does it take people to realize what Joel's preaching isn't working? Some people will never realize that. Sad, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Or it draws people that it's already working for.
Yeah.
You know, that's also...
They're like wealthy and rich and stuff like that.
They just go there to like hang out. It's a community group.
Yeah, I don't want to demean the fact that there's people that actually believe this stuff, Tom. Like there's people who really believe...
Oh, for sure.
That.
Definitely.
And they live it out. They actually act it out. They give, whatever, because they're expecting it. And then with the way things work, you're always going to get these exceptions, people who are also going to work hard when they do that because there's other things they believe to be true.
Yeah.
And they get successful. And then the people who don't kind of get forgotten because they never get any of the attention, right? You're always going to showcase the success story, not the failure.
Yeah.
And so the success stories are always put up in front, and then everybody else, like the lady that was dying of cancer ends up dying, even though she did everything the same exact way as the guy who is very rich and popular now. You're not going to showcase that lady.
No.
Because you can always have a justification for that lady, that even though she did those things, she didn't have enough faith.
Yeah.
Again, this is why we need to know the Word of God well. That's my desire for folks, man. It's like people studying the Bible, knowing the Word of God well, and living it out. And too many people run around trying to find what the fake stuff are out there. I think that's not a proper way to do these things. It's not a proper way to live. Know the Word of God properly. You'll recognize all the false stuff. Just spend time knowing the Word of God properly.
Amen to that. David, you are so smart.
What happened?
He's like, Tom, if you time out excellence, you might be able to catch up.
Wow. You guys
I might
are
do
cheating.
just that.
You guys are cheating
Excellence.
the
Stop
system.
cussing, man. That's not cool. Gone.
You did not.
No. I wouldn't do
You
that, but
guys
I
are-
will one day if
you
this
guys
gets
are
really competitive. If there's like a prize on the line, I'm literally deleting all of you from this channel. If it's worth it.
No, he's not going to do that.
I feel like there should be a giveaway one of these days, though. We should do a giveaway.
Yeah, well, I haven't given the sweaters still haven't arrived.
We should forget those sweaters, man.
No, we paid for them.
We're gonna rebrand before those arrive.
We paid for them. Like a lot of money.
Like people paid for them, or you bought them?
There's one person that's bought it, and as far as I know, he still hasn't received his. And the rest was somebody donated money, so I buy them and send them out, and I paid for them.
So what's going on with that?
But we're waiting for the responses. It's in months. So annoying. Look at this guy. Just comes into out of nowhere. He's like, and you shall be blessed tenfold towards the goal. Praise be he, the great I am. Let's see if his community chat just like spiked. I can't scroll anymore. Thank you, Ara. Appreciate it, brother.
Is that us?
Yeah, it's us, bro. Look at us. Look good, huh? There we are. Okay. I get better schooling here than there.
Let's react to a video of us talking at the same time. 5-second reaction. 5-second delay reaction.
Nick Quint has left, I think. He's probably not in the chat. That's why he's in 15th place. That's what happens when you leave.
Oh, Saad's in the house.
Where is he?
Is Ara the Great the same as the great mechanic Ara?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Where's Saad?
Well, that's what Saad said. I was reading Saad's question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's in the house. Yes, it is.
Saad, you got to get a profile picture up there,
I know,
man.
huh? Just the S. What's wrong with you?
Ooh, this has been nice.
Givork says, Arthur, what mic are you using? I'm using a Shure. Here, look, it's a Shure. Is this the SMB7? I think so. I always get it confused with the one you're using.
Saad, you're a little late, man. You missed our Muslim
big time.
Muslim roast. We discussed everything, man.
Yeah, look. So this is the mic I'm using. That's the mic I'm using. The mic that Tom's using is a smaller version of this. Also the cheaper version.
Yeah, but I will debate. Put him on. I'll debate him right now. Full Metal apologist. I'll just show him the numbers. This many evangelicals, this many Armenian Orthodox. Boom, we win. It's a ball game.
Oh gosh. Emil, stop bringing that up, man. I'm not gonna entertain that guy.
It's so funny, man. Like you see these, you see the Orthodox people. Like we're growing, people are leaving, and then I challenge you guys. Any statistic you check, even like current, like recent statistics, it says that the Orthodox Church generally has lost membership. So they've grown as a in numbers as populations have grown, but in the share of Christian in their share of Christianity, they've shrunk big time.
But the numbers, you can't do statistical research on this stuff
because of like converts and stuff like
that. Because it's automatically assumed that you are one because you were born.
Yeah, that's like even worse. That's even worse for them then.
I know, that's what I mean. Like it's unfair. So you're born Armenian, people just assume you're Armenian Apostolic.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you're like baptized in the Apostolic Church and all that stuff, and then you leave, and they go, "Look, people are leaving," but the counter, I think, from them could be that you weren't actually a member of the church; you weren't a part of the church. And I don't know how they would do that, because if you're baptized, then you are, even if you're like nominal and all that stuff. You know, I don't get into those conversations with folks, generally speaking. What you have is your ethnicity, essentially. Like, is everybody in Italy Catholic? Clearly, that can't be the case. It's like obviously not the case. So how do we do research like that? How is it growing? So you can show growth. You can also show quite a bit of, people leaving, because if they're like, I grew up this and I became this other thing. So,
guys, 2 more super chats, and I promise you, in this next month, me and Pisabi will go one-on-one in this room, head to head. I'm telling you, this will happen. We just need to hit that goal.
The goal is 10. Yeah, we haven't hit the 10, by the way, before. Even though I don't know how much super chats we've gotten come in, we've had more in regards to giving amount, but not individuals. So appreciate it. Oh, Tatiana said, so close. Look at that. Tatiana really wants you to debate Pasabi.
Yeah. We're almost there. One more. Someone make it a banger.
Excellent.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
$500.
You will be blessed.
Someone's going to cut that out.
Oh, gosh.
You should have done it.
I think Eastern Orthodox especially have grown in male attendance. That's true. But have an aging congregation mostly, plus some converts get used to the beauty and seek more active prayer and Bible study. Yep.
So I heard a stat that said people who are dealing with like depression and anxiety find the Orthodox churches do a really good job at responding to that. I don't know why, but that's something I saw.
That's very interesting.
But you got like Andrew Wilson, man. He really annoys me. Like,
you're on a roll today.
People who are dealing with,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. Beautiful voice. Wow. Is this the microphone? Or is it
Oh,
just my
ladies and
voice?
gentlemen, Agape has taken
Wow.
first spot again. 225 points. She is killing it. Because the rest of you guys are stuck on 150. Gev just took over Tom's spot in fourth place.
Man, everyone's calling for this debate. Arthur, why don't you just say why you won't debate this guy? Because you had a very good reason why you won't debate him.
I do not, generally I steer away from inner Christian dialogue because the purpose of this ministry is apologetics and evangelism. I want people to come to know Jesus. Then we can have the in-house conversations once they do that. So I don't really try to engage in, is Catholicism right? Is Orthodoxy right? Apologia Center aims, though I, as the founder of the ministry, am a Protestant. One of the things we try very hard to do is kind of do a mere Christianity defense of Christianity. So I would say like Nicene Christianity. And we're actually pretty open to people who see that vision and can agree with it, who are not Protestants, working with us. And we can have all those conversations on a personal nature. So that's partly why.
Let's put an end to it. Plus, I think full armor would get smoked anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think Arthur is being very gracious right now, which is fine.
Question from Agape. What are some reasons someone should be leaving their home church? Can one outgrow where they are? Do people only leave because of false doctrine, abuse, or distance being an issue? Well, it could be any one of those things or none of those things. I was having a conversation with a friend who had visited our church yesterday, who I haven't seen in some time. And because we moved, he came to encourage and all that. And he said, you know, man, I've been a Christian long enough where it's like I can listen to a sermon on a passage and stuff, and there isn't really nothing new in that. And church is a lot more than just going to listen to a sermon. And maybe this is where Protestants, especially low church Protestants, need to step up their game. We've made the focus of it too much on like being fed and the sermon and this and that. There's a lot more that goes into a church community coming together, say participating in the Lord's table together, in the Eucharist together, is one thing. Being in community and fellowship and friendship with people is another thing. It's not just that. Look, if there's false doctrine, yeah, leave. But in regards to like outgrowing, like I'm leaving because I'm outgrowing, it really depends on the community. If the community is teaching wrong things and you've outgrown it, yeah. If the community, if I don't know, you have a PhD in, you know, ancient Hebrew and you're a scholar in these things and you go, well, I'm going to leave my church because, you know, I've outgrown it. My response is you're probably not going to find a church that is at that kind of a level. Serve your community, be there, teach others, you know, encourage that, even though, again, depending on what we mean by outgrow. So there's a lot to be said about that. I think a lot of people leave churches for all the wrong reasons. Right. and people shouldn't. And develop rich, long-lasting relationships with people in your church. So again, it's multiple questions in one question. Do people only leave because of false doctrine? No, people leave because they offend someone or they get offended and they get up and leave, which is like the silliest thing on the planet. Like, deal with your issues. Someone offended you, confront it, deal with it, move on. Distance I can see being an issue. Like where you're like, man, there's a close by community. I like I don't have to drive 2.5 hours to be there. For some people it is. For some people it's not. I know people who've been going to the same church and it's a long distance, at least an hour and a half, because they have good community there. Okay. Arthur, have you ever looked into any Nigerian church organizations? I have not. Got anything to say about that, Tom?
No. Other than Hebrew Israelites think you'll be judged with the white people.
Who, me?
No, Hebrew Israelites.
Who'll be judged with the white people?
The Nigerians.
Oh, because they don't think all Africans are actual Israelites.
That's right. That's all I know.
So Nigerians are not the real ones. Okay. Agape is in first place. So your whole thing about her cheating to get there or whatever like that, I don't know.
Agape is a cheat.
She's killing it. She's 225.
Can I remove her as a?
No, you cannot. If my mods abuse their power, let me know.
I'll
take their mods away.
I can actually. Do I have super mod ability? Because I can put mods in timeouts. Woo!
Yeah, you do. You can actually make people mods.
Oh, I'm gonna be flexing right now. Agape, see you later. I like this superpower.
Let's hope you don't abuse it. I give it to people who I don't think will abuse it. But
I've never put anyone in timeout.
Really?
So I have never even used my power.
Wow.
There's
plenty of people that should have been put in timeout.
Because I think there's very little, like a small category of things you can say that warrants you being thrown off a channel. That's my opinion. Or put into timeout. I think if you make it personal and stuff, or cheat like Agape is doing right now, I think that warrants a little bit of a suspension here.
We're staying up. We're gonna stay until we get that 10th super chat.
Come on, guys, come on.
So that because we want to see you and Pisabi sitting down and talking to each other.
Let's get it. Don't make me sad.
Kane says you only leave a church when doctrine is too far from biblical accuracy. Damnable heresy. Well, Kane, I think the idea wasn't like leaving a denomination or a church. I didn't at least understand it like that. I think, it could just be like, hey, I'm too far from that specific congregation. I want to go to another congregation.
Yeah.
But it could be any one of those things. So I think the question is a pretty complicated question.
Yo, I got a drop, but are you still going to be on?
Hang on. Hebrew Israelites are changing their views on that. I only recently learned they don't like Nigeria because over here in the UK, they mostly try to convert us.
I'm not clapping for them not liking Nigeria, by the way.
Super chat's in.
The debate is on.
The debate is on, ladies and gentlemen.
Oof.
We will release.
Another one.
Whoa.
Ooh. You could have saved your money, David. You were too late. It's that the YouTube loading.
Whoa, man. Some serious stuff coming in. Pisabi versus Tom is a go.
One more and Pisabi's wife will be there too.
No. Stop.
One more super chat. Pisabi's wife will be on the channel. But you won't be able to see her because she'll have a towel over her head.
Stop. Pisabi, there's some info I've heard about Pisabi. I don't know whether you know or not. But some serious considerations of Christianity.
Yes, I think
of a certain order that you would appreciate.
Yeah,
Tom.
I think he's going to be discussing that when he comes on. I don't want to give it away.
Tom, I think he's considering a certain kind of Christianity. I think that you would be.
Well, he doesn't. I don't think he thinks it's Christianity. It's something else. It's a step above Christianity, but
Well, I thought he was like, I'm cool with some of the stuff with a certain theologian.
Oh man!
But yeah, we'll release a video of Tom and Pisabi having a conversation. We can't do it live because of the nature
signal,
of
the signal and stuff.
No,
The
it's
Wi-Fi.
also camera angles and all that stuff. We want to get them sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
So people aren't like, they're in different rooms. They're not in there together.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. We don't want to go with any of that stuff. So, and we got to, mics, lapel mics and all that stuff versus these sorts of mics we're using. What do you guys think about this new wave of Catholic and Orthodox interest? There's an interest. I just think, generally speaking, people have been ignorant of those things. There's more pronounced explanations and Catholic or Orthodox apologists online. And so therefore it's going to create a interest in the general population. The interest I've seen in Orthodoxy from folks has been individuals who were in school. Tom, do you have to leave now?
Yeah, I gotta leave right now.
Why don't you say bye and then I'll keep going.
All right, guys. Goodbye.
I guess
See
Tom
you
will-
next Monday, hopefully, unless something crazy happens. Hopefully it doesn't. God bless.
Yeah. Take care, Tom. Thanks. Don't break anything. There you are. We can see you now. See you, bro. Ooh, light. It's light outside. So, look, there's a lot of people I know that went to seminary and studied theology and stuff like that, had this interest in Orthodoxy and Catholicism. I went to school with people I've recently found out have converted to Catholicism predominantly. And so I see why that would be the case, but in regards to the general populace who were dealing with this, there's a lot more information out there for them. And so therefore there's an interest in it. That's what I think is going on. Tom is being a massive hater. So you won? Well, we haven't ended the stream yet, Agape, but you are winning by a long shot. 225. And then from 6th place to 2nd place is 150. I'm just curious to know if people get points if I actually post their stuff up. Let's see if we'll do the test on Back to Orthodoxy and see if he pops up from 8th place. I think evangelicals are so detached from history and Protestantism that yes, I agree with you. I agree. Radar saying, how did Agape get number 1? She's actually interacting, bro. She's interacting. She's commenting. It's not about just super chats. You can't just buy it. This is the cool thing. It's like bribery proof, it seems like, this whole system. But it helps. It's just you can't buy it. It's rigged. I think one of the ways you actually get points is by sharing the video online as well. So I don't know if she's done that or what the calculations here are. I haven't seen an update yet. We're still waiting for a nice update. Yeah, you know what? It did work. Back to Orthodoxy just got 3rd place. I posted his... I think if you're interacting more and I'm posting your stuff, it's helping. Let's see. I want to buy my way into the kingdom. Radar's in 5th now. Look at that. He's coming up. He's coming up. So actual interaction matters. Like you say stuff that gets posted. Helps out. So to a certain extent, I can rig it if I wanted to. Correct. Agape is staying relevant. So I did a test on you, Back to Orthodoxy. You were like in 8th place and stuff. I was like, I want to post it and interact with his comments and see if it'll bump him up a couple of spots. And it did. Radar's in 5th place. Got him up there too. Aaron as well. He's at 150. How was Ascension Sunday, Arthur? So again, church service for us was very, very different. We were moving campuses, and there's a lot of different stuff happening. So what you're saying is you're using me. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I used you to see if that's the way it works. It's not complicated. Hey, we've had pretty consistent folks on here. The stream has 59 likes. We've average viewers we have in the chat has there we go. We've raised about $64, I guess. Not bad. Thanks. Thank you, guys. We're at 2 hours and 26 minutes. I respond. This is true. Agape's actually kept it on point. She's responded and interacted with stuff we're actually talking about. It's called being normal. Radar, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with this on your streams. You got a lot more people watching, so it'll be a lot better. I hope it's been released to everybody, and it's not like they're slowly releasing this. Let me check something here. We're 9 subscribers away from hitting 8,800 subscribers. So if you're unsubscribed, go ahead and subscribe. What was I gonna look at? There it is, dashboard. Yo, YouTube is launching a shorts editor. Not bad. Oh, sorry. No. I get what they're doing. They're updating stuff when you're making shorts. And they're unveiling a new weekly podcast chart. Interesting. Oh, top 3 has been updated. Agape Excellence with 175. Tom's at 175. Back to Orthodoxy. He's gone kick down here. I'm trying to get my church involved with the church throughout time and across the globe. I really tried to hype Ascension Sunday to little avail. Any tips on sharing the heritage of the ferry? Is that supposed to, I don't understand what that last part is. Look, it's going to take a long time, and I think it's generally going to be in smaller groups rather than like doing stuff on Sundays to educate people, to get them kind of to appreciate the historical aspect of the faith, especially if we're talking about low church evangelicalism. So it'll take some time. Don't rush into it, or the faith. I would say it's not going to be like, we're going to hype this up, we're going to make this thing, and then everybody's going to just automatically have the enthusiasm towards that. So I've generally realized it's happened in personal relationships, it's happened in Sunday school classes and things of that sort. Ladies and gentlemen, Agape has been dethroned If you're paying attention, you can see that agape is now in second place and excellence is in first, but they're both tied on 225 points. Everyone, if you're following this channel, let's like and comment on the videos, Arthur's posts, so that YouTube pushes it out. I would really appreciate that. I've posted a couple of videos in the last couple of weeks from that Alex O'Connor, John Lennox conversation. And it just hasn't done much. And it was surprising to me in regards to, and probably post another one today at some time. Hopefully, if not tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow. I'll post that video tomorrow morning. But yeah, I would really appreciate it if you guys actually share those things out. Whoever wins today gets a customized cameo of Pasabi. Like our comments. It helps the algorithm. This is true. Tom left and people left. So let me see. I'm gonna stop this stream in a couple of minutes and we'll see who's in first. I can put a timer. I just put a timer. I won't tell you how long the timer is, but it'll ring. And then whoever's in first gets first. Say your new shorts, Arthur. The font, colors, and music are all great choice. Thanks. Just some continued consistency and they'll blow up, I think. Yeah, I've been focusing a little bit more on shorts and stuff like that. Oh, right now we have a three-way tie for first place. Excellence, Agape, and Tom are all on 225 points. But Excellence is in first, Agape is in second, and Tom is in third. We will see. We will see what happens when the timer's up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go and see if... Yeah, everybody's top three are on 225 points. No, there's been a couple of updates that have happened in regards to my editing software, and it's helping me edit more and better, especially when it comes to shorts. So I'm not going to post any one of your comments up on the screen. Here, we'll pull up and look at what that looks like. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. We'll do this one. It's just me and the screen. Oh, my God. This guy sent a super chat. He's literally trying to buy it. You guys are very, very competitive. I'm so curious to know when the next update is. Trying to refresh it. That's the timer. That is the timer, ladies and gentlemen. And what we're looking at here is the end result, I guess, of the leaderboard for today. And I don't know whether it's going to update it or not. Keep it there. Let's refresh this page. What we're looking at here is and see what the community tab says. Still 225 guys. You guys are hilarious. This is just too funny. Hey, God bless you guys. YouTube, if you're watching this, it's clearly working. There's a lot more interaction happening. So appreciate that. YouTube geniuses who make this work, leaning into people's competitive nature. You guys all have a good day. Pray for my voice that it recovers well. I'd really appreciate that. So take care and God bless.